Hi, I'm the letter hack, second in command here at Left Past 10 Industries. Last week, we showed a copyrighted image on air. It was a prominent professional wrestler from the 1980s. And as a result, YouTube has partially blocked the episode from being seen by viewers in select areas. So, on behalf of my fellow co host, our guest, and as well as the many, many people who work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring you the very best content we can come up with on a weekly basis, I would like to extend my sincerest apologies to our loyal Left Past 10 viewers and fan base in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Russia, and especially Sri Lanka. Sorry again.
Left past 10, banned in 9 countries.
Don't talk over the opening.
Can we start over? Jake fucked it up.
That was 10 countries that were banned in.
Oh
10.
yeah, especially
This is
Sri
left
Lanka.
past 10, not left past 9. That's a different show.
Left banned 10.
Whoa.
10 countries.
What the hell are you talking about?
That's a big deal.
Look, my goal is to get banned past 10. I want to get the golden 11th country.
You're gonna be banned past 10 if you don't shut the hell up.
Oh my god. All right, with this ass attitude. I didn't realize it was such a sacred time.
Extremely sacred. But trying to
What
meditate.
percentage of this are we allowed to talk to? There's got to be some.
Approximately 0.
Oh. All right, I'll be quiet then.
Hey, we made it. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah,
David
we
Dole is
did.
here.
Hi.
Come on. It's
I am awake.
So exciting.
we went all the way to Canada to get the #1 American politics commentator on
Yes.
the show.
Yes, we did.
That's where you have to go.
I went over the Peace Bridge and picked him up.
I'm serious,
He's
David.
actually in my other room.
You know more about this
I
stuff.
swam
I've said
up
this.
Niagara Falls.
I've said this before too.
Oh, I'm not far.
The Rational National knows more about American politics than the majority of Americans, I think.
Oh,
Like,
Well,
it's fascinating.
come
to me.
on.
I was watching that Kamala Harris town hall the past hour. I'm not sure if it's still on, but oh my god, the crowd of undecided voters, some of the dumbest fucking people I've seen in my goddamn life.
They're all lying.
David
Yeah,
Dole, can I
They're
ask
lying.
you a question, please?
yes,
This
yes,
is
please.
pressing. What group is dumber? MAGA, undecided. Pick.
Ooh.
I would say undecided because Meg is in a cult and they don't really think for themselves, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
Undecided apparently have brains and they're not being utilized in the way that they should be, considering they're
good
not in a
answer.
cult.
Let's
Well,
roundtable this. I'm with you. I also say undecided because at least you had to lie to MAGA. Like they've fallen for lies, but at least it was necessary to lie to them. You don't even have to lie to the undecided voters. You just point them in the direction of a ballot box. And
I think they're
I'm
fake.
gonna go based
How
on who's
can they be
tall."
undecided after?
I don't think
A
it's
lot of them
real.
are like they claim like they're like leaning one way or the other. There was one lady there who asked a question. She was claiming that the wealthy paid too much in taxes. That was her question. Like, don't the wealthy already pay too much in taxes? And many people aren't paying tax at all. It's like, oh my god, what am I even watching now? Like, this is just
I
the
think
dumbest
they're
fucking
the-
people.
I think these are the same people that clap at the debates. I think they're just studio audience. I think CNN or who was hosting the town hall?
Anderson Cooper.
Oh,
Yeah, I
God,
mean,
didn't-
come
I
on,
didn't
it's like-
see it.
Hey, I'm calling from Anderson Cooper. Are you decided or not? And they're like, oh, I'm totally undecided.
Well,
And they're like, "Would you like to
they
be
go
in the
through
studio?"
they go through a third party that I guess I assume they're part of the polling apparatus, you know,
support
the
third
polling around
parties on this
undecided
show.
voters and that kind of thing. But for sure, there have people that lie. Like they're
Yeah.
guaranteed there are people there that they know what they're voting or who they're voting for. But like there's one question on Gaza, followed by a lady who was complaining about too much anti-Semitism on college campuses. It's like, oh my, like this, it's just the way they structured it as well. And just like, oh yeah, you know, estimated around 100,000 deaths. Let's compare that to some kids on college campuses that are protesting those mass deaths. And you're
Right.
calling them anti-Semitic, but they're not actually anti-Semitic. Like
no.
it's insane. I hate the discourse. It's so stupid.
We are traumatized because we are seeing what we're seeing on social media. I mean, back in the day when I was young, which is like 100 years ago, we didn't see what we saw in Iraq. We didn't see it like this. And I mean, when I went and protested in DC and all that, we didn't see the horrors we're seeing now. And even when I was really little in Vietnam, it was just a newspaper and the evening news.
Yeah, there's really no excuse anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not AI. Those are real images. That's actual suffering and genocide. I mean, it just is. And so
it is.
But so if somebody is undecided, like in my life, if somebody was like, oh hey, like a normie, like a friend of mine, someone who's not online, someone who doesn't watch it like we all do, if they said they were undecided, I'd go, you are not paying attention.
Right.
Yeah, because it couldn't be clearer. You're either in a burning house or calling the fire department.
We all underestimate the pure ignorance of these nutsacks. Like they don't know literally what is happening around them at any given time. It's maddening.
Could I ask?
I feel like that's insulting to
We all have questions tonight. I want to know if
like
David knows this. Go ahead, Andrea. You go first.
It's somewhat related to the topic at hand. Jake, why is the lighting making like this other half of your face super dark right now?
I'm trying to fix because I just have that one light. I'll tell you. It's because I recently set this thing up for iPod commercial mode, and I love it.
That actually, that's pretty good.
It's rad as hell.
And that there has a side effect of making you just really dark generally.
I effed up the contrast.
We're almost normal-ish. Well, you're normal, but okay. So, David, I have a question for you. This is very serious. Have you heard, or have any of you heard about Gaza wood? Okay, Gaza wood. Okay,
Gaza wood. No.
Yep,
I believe that's what Joe Biden has when he sends.
No, stop.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Wow.
Listen, this is really serious, and I'm potentially going to do something on this. I found out today that the Israeli government is faking videos, and they're saying that the Palestinians are doing it. They're cutting and pasting shows, Palestinian and Middle Eastern television shows, dramas that show all this stuff in hospital scenes, and they are putting it online and saying that that the Palestinians are actually doing it themselves, and that there's none of this really going on. It is the biggest gaslight I have ever seen. I discovered it today, and I'm all up that down. I'm going to report on this. I have to. It's bullshit.
I remember some of that near the beginning of this, like post October 7th, like November around there. Like I remember that
Binder debunked some of that, didn't he?
Yeah, I remember there were being accounts that were defending Israel and claiming that some of the stuff we were seeing was fake.
Yeah, but it's still happening, and I found I was just wondering if you guys ever.
I didn't know there was a name for it. Like I assume it means like
Gaza
Hollywood.
They called it
Hollywood
Hollywood or some horseshit.
Gaza wood.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting, and it made me sick because I'm actually looking. I'm doing a collaboration for a music video, and I do music videos, but I'm not doing the music. I'm doing David Rovix did a new song, so I'm looking for graphics, and this is what I come up with, all this bullshit, and I was like, wow, maybe it's old, but I think it might still be going on because I wouldn't put anything past these people that want to make you think, you think that this is not happening when we know it's happening.
The correct response to that is to ensure that anybody who is citing the people that released these fakes gets told, stop referring to them. They are liars, which includes our own government in the U.S. When Netanyahu states X number of people were killed, or these people that were killed belong to this group, our reporters have an obligation, and us in the real world have an obligation to say, stop. You're citing somebody who we know lies. It's no different than if somebody tries to mention a Fox News article about this or that. It's pause. We know they're liars. So why are we discussing what they have to say about anything?
Upset.
So Harris is at that town hall, David?
Right now?
Yeah. At
Okay.
least it may have been an hour. It may be over now, but yeah.
She's been doing a lot of interviews, press, and town halls and stuff, right? And rallies. Like
This was
the
I think
media was.
this was
Weren't they
supposed to
highly
be
critical?
either a debate or a like town hall for both of them, but Trump obviously dropped out or didn't want to do anything, so it ended up just being a Kamala
okay.
Harris thing.
See, this is the thing. It's like this: the bar keeps being lowered for Trump and Republicans, but it keeps going up. Like the standard keeps going higher and higher for Harris, and they were very critical of her not doing interviews and stuff, but she's like doing a lot of them now.
Yeah,
Well,
and
Trump
people
is
are
always great on a
listening.
curve. Like it's always it
Always.
does it's just like the shit that he says every day. Like I watched, I did a video on he did the Univision town hall where his answers, like putting us aside, the I don't know, the absurdity of just Trump generally, just listening to how he tries to answer some of these questions. There's one guy who asked about, he's a farm worker and he's asking about if you deport these undocumented immigrants, who's going to work these jobs. And then Trump's answer was, those jobs are being taken by illegal immigrants. Like,
Right.
no, they already have the jobs. Like,
doesn't
there's no actual response to the question. His answer makes no sense at all, and
Never.
he rambles on for like 6 minutes.
Never.
It's just like
My favorite recent
if
one.
Kamala Harris had like one piece of this answer, there would be news like around the clock. Is she okay? What's wrong with her? We need like but
Yep.
it's every
She's
day with him,
unfazed.
and there's so much of it. We're just used
My
to it.
favorite
It's
recent one
insane.
when he was asked about January 6th, and he was like, Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed.
Yeah,
Like,
and
in
then
same-
there's a lady in
it
the
was back to
audience.
back. was
It goes to the
awesome.
audience, and there's a lady. She's like, "What?"
Yeah. Look at
Really
this. So there's a rumor that some kind of terrible story is going to drop about Donald Trump.
Groping a
And
kid.
it isn't the story that he's a Hitler-loving fascist. Like that's pretty eye-opening. Like you can really come up with something worse than
Yeah,
what I mean, that's
supposedly
bad
it's-
enough.
He groped some young girl who was a donor's daughter, but we don't know.
Recently?
Yes.
Oh, a rich
yes.
person's daughter. Well,
Yes,
then.
Oh,
at
recently.
an event recently. But that's what I read. It's Twitter. So
It's
Look,
also like nothing's
I
gonna
would
hurt.
argue
Like
for
this is
that.
what I said earlier. Like there
They
was
don't
the
care.
speculation from I think
Yeah.
it was Mark Halperin, who I guess is still around.
Yes,
He's like
that's the
he-
He's
person.
kind of
he
the
said
case study for
I'm
this,
hearing
too.
a story that if this comes out, Trump's going to drop out of the race. There is nothing that
Never.
could come out. There could be
No.
video of him doing the groping. He wouldn't drop out. It's
Right.
AI, fake news. His supporters wouldn't care. Nothing would ever make him drop out of the race. If Mark Halperin's not being like is actually being serious, like has he been following Trump at all over the past 8 years?
Mark
Nothing's gonna make
Halperin
him
was
drop out.
canceled for a while there too, wasn't he? He's fine.
Yeah,
I would
Well-
argue that it's not just Trump that's graded on a curve. I think evil is graded on a curve. I think the forces that be have a financial interest in having immoral people running things. And I think just like Joe Biden eulogized Strom Thurmond and Polyev is somehow still has a career, Doug Ford still has a career despite his scandals.
Oh,
and
he's
just blatant
horrible.
corruption.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they're absolutely all graded on.
still
a curve.
majority support, I think, in polling as well. It's just like
Jesus
this is why
Christ.
I get
David,
frustrated doing anything. Like this is what why am I even doing what I'm doing? Like
Oh,
I've covered
yeah.
Doug Ford many times. Obviously, let's be, most people aren't seeing my videos, but like just it isn't just me. Like people cover this shit, expose the obvious corruption of whether it's Doug Ford, Trump, whoever, and the needle doesn't move. It just feels like who am I talking to at this point? I'm just talking to
I
people
did
that already understand this or already agree with me. But I'm
I did a
trying
whole
to
cartoon about it.
change minds here.
David,
Nothing.
are
Yeah.
you afraid in Canada that I know Polyev or whatever his name is? I mean, it's bleeding over. Are you afraid if Trump does win that it is going to really infect Canada?
Yeah, is our
Oh, of course.
fascism
It-
gonna leak into
I mean, it did in 20 post. I mean, that's how we have Polyev now. Is at least I think part of it is the
The
cultural
worst.
impact of Trump, even apart from any kind of policy. Just the rise in hate crimes after Trump took office. Like that's the kind of
emboldened,
that's the kind of stuff that I think it's largely overlooked. Like people are like, oh my groceries were more affordable. Everything else was fucking terrible, and the inflation is a global issue. It's not like it only happened in the U.S. Like no, this is everybody. Prices are everywhere, and of course corporations took advantage of that. But like this is it's yeah, of course it would have an impact, and
I'm scared of that for you guys. I mean, I'm 85 miles from the border. You know, I get scared. But
well, don't get scared. I get scared for you. Don't
I
get scared
know.
for
Well,
me.
I
that's
know
why
because I am the enemy from within.
that's part of my decision or my rationalizing in moving to a red state, South Carolina, was I'd be embedded. Everything's pointed outward. You know what I mean? Like their hate, their guns, it's all pointed outward. Sort of like fight from behind enemy lines, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
how
like
about you put up like a trans flag on your front lawn and then see how long the guns are
my
pointed
neighbors
outward?
have Israel flags.
That's because
Mm.
they're Christians and they think that, Israel has
You
to
don't talk.
implode. Yeah.
They
I
want the
saw
end
You know
times,
what?
yeah.
Oh,
there's a
wait, I
house
gotta
I
say
saw with
something.
like a flag that was like a cross of the US flag with the like the Israel flag, like the star was the Israeli flag thing and then the stripes it was blue and white. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I got my NRA magazine today, as I am a member, so I'm on the good list. I'm on the safe list, right? The cover is Trump's bloody ear thing. It is
Fake,
disgusting.
staged,
It
didn't
is
happen.
so bad, of course, but they are telling that the members how to vote. I started with the NRA when Bernie was running, so I could see what they were saying, and I've just been a member, and it's just it never ceases to amaze me. And now I wish I had gotten it so I could show you the pages. There's a whole big advertisement of stuff, Trump rings and Trump jewelry and all this. It's such
Oh
a
my
cult.
God.
It's so
So weird.
disgusting.
Now, I was
So
reading
depressing.
guns that say Trump on it.
It's
I was
so
reading a
depressing.
report that
It's sick.
he duped a lot of seniors that donated to him like once and accidentally clicked something or it was scammy,
Fuck
right?
'em.
Like they ended
Fuck
up
those
doing the
seniors.
recurring
Fuck 'em.
donations.
Fuck
And
'em.
I remember that. Yeah.
but like there's
happening?
new reporting on it that
Yeah.
it was like huge.
Fuck those
Imagine
seniors.
wearing a big Trump ring or a big. I mean, these people.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
So
Wearing a Trump watch,
Perfect.
one of those $10,000 or $100,000 monstrosities, is just like advertising to people, like to other people that have money, that you are gullible.
Well,
It's like
these are
saying, "Please
NRA
offer me
members.
a space in a pyramid scheme."
Mhm. Yeah.
hey, David, if the election happened today, who do you think wins?
I think Harris is slightly ahead as the favorite, but it's there's no guarantee of anything really.
Yeah, but
I
you
know.
got
I take some solace in the idea that the midterms were supposed to be like this red wave. At least some were saying that, and turned out to be like the opposite. So it's possible there's just going to be a larger turnout than polling is showcasing. I think a lot of people are motivated that maybe wouldn't normally vote. They're motivated by abortion rights, and hopefully that will bring out people that
Yeah.
are
In
gonna
South
vote more
Carolina,
Democrat.
they replaced absentee ballots and mail-in ballots
I'm
with not
sending
all
you
absentee
something.
ballots, but they replaced it with early voting this year. And South Carolina set a day one record for most voters in a single day. It was 125,000.
Hell,
Mm.
The previous record was 70,000.
hell
But
yeah!
you said they just created early voting?
They have extended early voting in South Carolina in place of mail-in ballots.
So they had it beforehand, but now it's just a longer period. I see.
Yeah, and I went today. Hold on.
Gotta
I
get the
sent you
sticker off the
something,
floor.
Jake, in
They give you a sticker. I wanted the
The
American
traditional I
flag
voted.
sticker. Yeah,
Oh.
this one has the presidential seal, which
Horse
I've
shit.
always hated because that's obviously
Garbage.
an eagle. Seals don't have beaks and wings, so I don't get why they
Garbage.
call it that. But
I sent you
So
something.
you voted
Jake.
early. So is South
Yeah.
Carolina? Is it flipping this year, or
Funny.
is it a big blue wave?
we're gonna unionize.
Yeah.
I think that might be as good as it gets.
Yeah.
We
you go.
almost unionized the South last year. This past summer, we're gonna do it this year. I'm confident. It's not going to be major, but it's going to be a huge first step, and it's going to be historic. I don't think. I mean, my pen pals are Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham.
Oh
It's
god, they're just the
terrible.
worst
Yeah.
people.
When I have to write a
Yeah.
letter, I get the form letter back from them, and then I get the emails, and I'm like, oh my god.
So, David, do you ever get any like trolls?
Must.
I don't really read like comments anymore. I mean, I read them, but I don't like. I'm not good at names, anyways. Maybe it's a good thing because I don't really recognize if someone is like consistently
Okay.
trolling me.
But yeah, you've got a
Uh,
lot of people.
It's
Yeah.
something I would have noticed. Yeah, but when I was starting off, for sure, it was more noticeable. But I don't know. I block people liberally on Twitter,
Oh, yeah.
on YouTube as well. Like if there's someone in there who's just like this person just starting shit or stirring shit, I'm just gonna hide their account and they can keep posting, but they're posting to nobody. No one's seeing it. So keep going
We're not
right
going to
ahead.
be able to block on Twitter soon, right? They're taking that away.
I think no,
I
you
don't-
can still block, but they can't interact with you. So they can see your posts now. I think they just changed it. So I guess everyone I've blocked can now see my posts. But I don't I don't post like I
Right.
used to on Twitter. I
We're
used to
all
post a lot
moving.
more.
All of us climate people may be moving to Blue Sky because
Yeah.
we're getting really disgusted. And I'm like with a bunch of climate groups. And so one person just set up something, and there's a Saturday Spaces that Blue Sky doesn't have yet. Spaces every Saturday with the climate crisis group. And I listen while I'm gardening or doing my thing. People all around the world, amazing people. But we may be leaving if it gets really bad. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
I'm on
really bad, but
I'm on Blue Sky and Threads, probably
yeah.
almost as much as Twitter. The only reason, honestly, I still have Twitter is because I follow news. I cover news. I have to.
yeah.
News still breaks
Me
on Twitter.
too.
It doesn't really break on Blue Sky
Right.
and Threads. So I
All the
still have to be on
climate
Twitter for
news
that.
is all
I'm
the
killing
graphs.
it on Blue
climate
Sky
news.
lately. I feel like there was a lot of people who left Twitter for Blue Sky just
All
in
right.
the last week. I've had like
I'm
50
doing it.
new followers,
Yeah.
like in a
Then I'm
few
gonna
days.
do it. All
Yeah,
right.
I think it's becoming slowly like the more dominant, or at least I should say the people that are not Nazis are a lot of them are moving to Blue
Right.
Sky. And
I
people
hope
are
that-
You needed
and,
it.
I
and
hope
Threads
that
has
they'll
issues
have-
with like the way it props up certain like there's so much fake shit on Threads
Isn't
That's-
Fred
that
It's still Facebook.
it's a
Zuckerberg?
problem.
isn't that Zuckerberg?
Yeah, it's Meta.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to do, I hope Blue Sky will do well. And I would love to have them have a Spaces kind of thing because they're really good. And I just got into Spaces just like not long ago when I joined the climate crisis. Well, they asked me to join the climate crisis club. So it's really good. People all over the world, just amazing voices. And I have a channel that has people from all over the world
Well, heck yeah.
because of my content.
I have
David-
a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This is a slight subject change, but
Okay.
I don't know how long we'll have David Doel, star of the Rational National program here. So, David, are you a gamer?
Ooh.
Link.
Ooh.
When he's not
Yes, I
busy
am.
with
a
with
Follow-up
kids.
Literally
question.
wearing a video game T-shirt. Yes, I'm a gamer.
Are you going to play, or have
Wanda?
you played even the Silent Hill 2 remake?
Wanda, you're wonderful.
So I have this issue with a genre called horror, where I have a hard time, whether it's
Oh.
movies, whether it's video games. Though I've been getting better with video games. I played through Alan Wake 2, which many people are saying it's a horror game. There are moments of that game that are scary, but that didn't disturb me in a way that like Resident Evil. I've started them all, every single one, and the remakes. Never finished any of them. As much as I enjoyed playing them, I'm like, I don't want this person chasing me anymore. This giant monster is chasing me. I can't do
Yeah.
this anymore. This is too much anxiety.
I know
Still
how
a
to
kid.
escape this chase. Boop.
Yeah, exactly. Dead
Interesting.
Space remake. I actually beat that game. That game is scary. It does have many jump scares, but I found the hack to get through a horror video game as someone who doesn't like horror. I listened to a podcast on the side and I turned the sound down. I know sound design is a big part of horror, and I get it. If you appreciate horror, you can't do that, whatever. But I would not be
I'm
able to
going to
play
be
the game
honest. I
otherwise.
would rather you just not play the game. In fact, I regret asking the
I
question.
can still hear the game, but like the scary shit is just like, oh, that's It's not so bad because I was listening to this thing on the side. So
How
it's
do you
not
have
as-
time between your show and your family and all? How do you have time for
I
games?
sleep less.
Oh.
Well, this is when my kid went to bed at like 7. Now he's up to like 10 o'clock. It's
How
just
old is
ridiculous.
he?
He's not even 4. Like he goes to bed way too
Oh.
late. Like I should say he
remember
goes
that.
he goes to bed at like 7:30, but he's up until like 9 or 10.
See, I
so
started
sorry.
eating less, and so I just sleep less. now. It's remarkable how that
Yeah.
works. But
That's
I
the
wish I
best
could eat less. I
strategy.
like food
And
too
yet,
much.
when you eat less, you also have more energy. I do.
yeah, I feel great. Okay, David.
I try to eat less, and then food just appears in front of
Yeah.
my.
I could stay for
Feel
a
the
bit
drug.
longer. It's this time flew by already, so I didn't realize.
Yeah,
it was
we're
already
having
like
Ah,
25.
see, I think
Alright,
I
David.
won that bet.
We woke him up.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a market on Poly Market for how long will David Dole be on Left Past 10.
Yeah.
Is this the Poly Market Studio in
Yeah.
in South Carolina?
I
Yeah.
have $1,000 on Poly Market for Kamala because the shares are so cheap. So
I think it'd be funny if I wasn't really in
You're
South
prob-
Carolina and I was
might
just
win.
kind of monetizing that for the last couple of years. But no, a serious question. Like, what do you plan to do if Donald Trump wins? Maybe it's a content
can I do?
thing. Maybe it's a personal thing. I don't know.
Wall.
Is there?
Build the
See,
wall.
I want to start.
What do I
focusing
plan to
on-
do?
Yeah, I want to start getting people to focus on the next round of progressive candidates, like new progressive candidates, right? Help organizations find them and train them and get them up and running, right? I don't really know what that means, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of positive strategizing with what
Yeah.
we can actually make happen versus shit.
That stuff to me, though, I gotta say, like that stuff is so local. Like
Yeah,
I think a lot of candidates or people that want to run for office, they put too much stock in the idea of, oh, if I get on this leftist show, then I'm gonna be able to win. That has nothing. It's all about ground game. It's all like
Yeah.
it's, unless you're talking about like a Senate race, but
No,
You
it's
know.
all about the ground
It's like-
game. Here,
I
it's
wanna-
all
people
about it's
knocking
still
on
about the ground
doors.
game.
But what do you do if
Yeah.
it's 6 weeks from now the Supreme Court decides that Trump is the actual president again, or however it plays out? What do you do? I mean, is that
Do we keep our shows? Well, he's in Canada.
No, I cover news the way I
what
cover
do
shit.
we do?
Yeah.
I'll just cover whatever's happening and try to hopefully educate people as opposed to just
Absolutely.
speak
Stay
into
the
the
course.
echo chamber. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
what my channel, I'm an educator, but it's still scary proposition, even though I'm tiny. You do think, I looked up on Google. I mean, I doxed myself. Everything's everywhere. You can't hide. But I have a locking driveway gate and I'm safe. I have lots of safety.
Well, that's good.
I sent Jake the picture of the juxtaposition of my 2 signs outside. It's pretty funny.
oh
But-
man.
Fair
'Cause
enough.
we have Proposition 1 in New York, which is the equal rights, pro-choice proposition, and I also advertise on the sign outside for the guy that I went to take his handgun course, the 18-hour course for New York State. So I put the 2 signs next to each other. People probably think, "Can she
Yeah.
make up her mind?"
That's like on
No,
Full
yeah.
Metal Jacket.
You
when
took
the
a
guys,
course though.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
because
fun.
New York has the SAFE Act, and that's why I'm doing it, because New York should be pretty much what every other state. It should be federal. It's good. It's really good. You can't just walk into a store and buy a gun. You have to understand the law. You have to learn everything. This is why I'm doing it.
That's like Canada. Like you can have a gun in Canada, but well, first of all, it's not for protection. Like it is for hunting or sport. You can't use it against somebody. But you have to take like there's a 30-day waiting period. They call your relatives. They call like past
Absolutely.
people that you've been with, like to make sure you're not like an abusive individual.
Right. I had
They're
a background
very-
check, fingerprint.
Yeah, and you got to
I had
training, all that
people-
stuff.
Yep. It's good because eventually I'll do a show on the experience.
Speaking of yard signs, did you see the kid? He's like an affluent, conservative, Trump supporting
Could
family.
you say that
he's
word
of a
again for me?
affluent.
Interesting.
Affluent.
That's a fine
Interesting.
way to say it.
Not effluent.
How do you say it? Affluent.
Affluent.
Effluent is
How did I
something else.
say it?
You said affluent.
I said affluent.
No, you said affluent.
This
Roll
is
the
our
tape.
show, David.
Roll the tape.
Affluent.
Okay,
Affluent.
this fucking rich brat from a MAGA family was stealing Harris Walsh campaign signs. Did you see this?
Oh, yes, I saw it.
I
And there
didn't
was
see that.
one person that had the Apple Air tracker or whatever it is on it. And so they went to his house and they found a trunk full of them. And they said, those are $20 a pop when you get them from the Democratic headquarters. This is a felony.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
kid's mom
Oh,
comes out
wow.
and starts going, typical liberals, get out of here. He didn't do
my
anything wrong. And it's
God.
like, well,
Cops.
it's trespass. Yeah, they said it's trespassing and these are $20 a pop. And the kid goes, no, they're
What?
like $2 on Etsy. And they're like, we did not get these from Etsy. We got them from the local office.
Mm.
And the cops are on the way. And they were like all over the ground and
Good.
everything. And then the kid got really, there's video out there. The kid got really like, oh, well, can I help you put these back in your car? Sorry for the inconvenience. He got really
Did it.
friendly. And then the best part is like the older brother comes out. And these are like high school kids, but like the older brother comes out and goes, hey, just wanted you to know I don't have anything to do with these idiots. Like he threw his mom and his brother right under the bus. It was so
Good.
funny. He's
I was
like,
about
don't
to put all
believe
the
this
blame
shit.
on the mom because she sounds like a piece of work, but
Yeah.
yeah, the older son seems fine. So
There's
I guess you
another
can't
one
really
where
control
the
your kids.
UPS driver was stealing the signs and putting up Trump signs instead. That was I saw that too. That was somebody got him on a camera.
Good.
I've got
I'm glad he
cameras.
lost his
What
job.
do people think that's going to do? Like,
It's
oh,
not gonna make a difference.
I saw a Trump sign. I said I'm voting for Trump now. Like that's.
Yeah, it's-
I
Here's
feel
the
like
thing,
out of
though.
all the
It's
things
so
you could do, seeing a sign is probably the least impactful on
It
somebody's
is
vote.
so.
Well,
it's
my sign is
so
just
hard.
Proposition 1.
It is so hard for us to understand. But yes, David. Yes is the answer. They literally there is a depressing chunk of at least Americans. I hate to say it, but I suspect all North Americans who they make their decision based off like, people seem to really like Trump around my neighborhood. He must be good.
You know what?
Well,
You're
no,
probably
Most
that
right.
people are fucking
Dumb.
stupid. They're dumb.
Yes.
They're dumpster diving in the fucking
have-
Oh my
green world.
God.
Yeah, I have
They're
too much.
breathing fools.
This is my blind
Well,
spot.
let's
is
not
I,
insult
I
mouth
assume
breathers.
people
All
aren't
those
fucking
people with
stupid.
sinus
And
issues out there don't
You,
deserve.
I think
You're
that's
wrong,
a safe
yeah.
assumption, though. People are, but I also think that
No.
I don't think people are just stupid. I think because
Willfully.
I've thought about it a little bit too much. I think that they have a single idea and they don't take the extra couple of seconds to realize this is not an exclusive idea to my brain. Somebody else has thought this. It's been debunked. It's been rationalized through. This isn't. I shouldn't just go with my initial thought on this, but they
You
do.
always search your idea on
I
at
think
least
that-
5 different
I don't
search
think we live in
engines.
that world anymore. I think
You just
people
gotta
just
do it.
That
have an
I
idea and
feel-
they run with it.
gives them entirely too much credit and paints an inaccurate picture.
But
of
this
what we're
we
talking
call
about.
everything a conspiracy, and I don't think it's
What-
an actual
what we're
conspiracy.
dealing
I
with
just think it's
is-
stupidity.
It is stupidity, but
Right.
like
That's how I
you're
define
still
it.
you're still overestimating, is what I'm saying.
All right, David
You're
is
That's
still
imagining
with us.
you're imagining that there's some sort of
Let's
like
not
a
forget
like
David.
a
I don't
thought
worry.
process.
I'm enjoying myself.
Okay.
Here's my pitch to you. I think it's them thinking like, I don't need to know about politics. I'm gonna go with the person whose hair I like. I
Hmm.
think it's that simplistic.
Really? Jeez.
Yes.
I don't think it's
I
that
don't know.
direct though. I could definitely see people thinking, or people just maybe subconsciously taking in a lot of Trump signage or Harris signage, and just subconsciously that has an impact on
bunch
them.
of
But I
signage.
don't think they think, oh, I like that person's hair, I'm voting for them. It's maybe subconsciously there's some impact there where it's like, oh, I like this person comes off in a way to me that screams like leader. And
Can
maybe
I
that's partly
ask
because
a
of the hair,
question?
but I don't think it's because I like their hair and voting for them.
Yeah, I think they feel smart because they're like, I know what it is. I just figured it out. And if they need to take a second to do some sort of peer review, you know what I mean? Like,
I know
there's
what that
no
means,
way you
peer
should just
review.
go with that initial thought. That's probably dangerous. But what
Hey,
were you
David,
gonna say? Andrew?
do
Oh,
any
well, I
Canadians-
read online that about like 60 to 70% of people don't have an inner monologue.
Oh,
Whether or not you
Oh.
believe that's true
No,
is
I don't
one
believe
thing.
that.
I have
don't
an
know how
inner
to study
soundtrack
that.
A
going.
majority? I could see like
They-
30%.
Well, they
Which would
they
line up with some of
basically
the-
what I found out is they just asked a bunch of people, and they found out that about it's a majority, about 60-70% of people don't think with words. They think with like pictures, possibly, or emotions or feelings, but not
That
with
just-
words. So I'm just gonna say that
Wild.
explains a lot.
That reminds me of Trailer
Wow.
Park Boys. Do you guys ever watch that where Ricky says,
Yes, but
"Yeah,
how does it-
sometimes I hear like this weird like voice and it's telling me things," and Bubbles goes, "Those are thoughts, Ricky. You're
Yeah.
thinking thoughts." Like everyone does that,
Obviously not critically, but so
but
David,
apparently they don't.
I don't know where
Yes.
you live, but does anybody have any kind of MAGA stuff out in Canada?
I saw it
depressed me.
once when I was driving
Okay.
around.
All right, so it has
probably depending where you are, you might see it,
Oh
more
my
often.
God.
But we do have. There are pickup trucks with large Canadian flags when it's not Canada Day, so
Okay.
that tells you something.
Yeah, they're all
Those
over
tend to
here.
be the
They're all
far
over.
right, people.
Mhm.
But
I've got them right where I live. These people. Yep.
Quick-
And I'm surprised they have not knocked my mailbox down, but I only have the Proposition 1 sign up. I don't have anything
Quick-
else up. They did already. I've
roundtable.
had that happen.
oh my god,
What's your inner
Oh
soundtrack?
yeah.
My
My-
inner soundtrack? Oh man,
What's
I've got a
everybody's?
bunch.
Starting with
When I go in real quick, I'll just throw this. When I go into a portfolio review or some sort of design presentation, I have Street Fighting Man by the Rolling Stones playing right before I go in there.
Inner
That you cannot,
soundtrack.
I will win. I will convince everyone I have the best designs and the best art. It's easy. Just gotta
mine's
have
the
the right
Always
music.
Sunny in Philadelphia soundtrack is usually
Really?
clinking in the background as I'm
What,
interacting.
like
with
Day
folks.
Man?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just sort of like the music that transitions between scenes all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Oh, the
How about you?
pleasant. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How
How about you, Andrew?
I feel like I don't
I
have
got
an
the
inner
Dragon
soundtrack.
Ball Z prologue theme, Kikuchi score.
Okay. David,
Very
you got to
specific.
come up with one. There's
I don't-
got to be something.
Do people actually have inner sound? Like for me, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
whatever movie or game. Actually, usually it's like if I'm playing a game, and right now I'm playing Metaphor. It's a fantastic Japanese RPG, and there is
I
a
think
song
Meta
that
3 is
plays.
better.
What, say that again?
Meta 3 is better.
That's not
Oh,
a
go
game.
to hell.
Metaphor.
There is
Personally, I'm just saying it's a lot better.
there is a song that plays on the in one of the areas, and that's kind of like in my head, but I don't have like a general inner soundtrack.
Work on it.
Fair enough.
It really helps.
I
Andy.
like too much music. I listen to too many things. It'd be impossible for me to pick just one. all over
What,
the
Sandy,
place.
what would
Rotate?
be your inner
What
soundtrack?
would mine be?
Yeah.
Like,
Probably listen to this. I don't know. The fire slowly burning. The Moody Blues. I'm old.
That's fine.
They're
Yeah.
incredible. There's the soundtrack is their words for all these decades are still
When-
meaningful.
When I would do I used to run 5Ks and 10Ks all the time at altitude in Colorado, and it's really difficult
Oh,
above
God.
sea level like that. You get to I quit smoking, and I was like, I could probably be athletic if I wanted to now, and I was. So then, right at the end though, is where you have to like really go. It's difficult, and this is corny, but if I think of the Rocky,
Rocky, I
theme
knew you were
song.
gonna say it. I knew it.
Of course.
it
Da,
works.
da,
It
da.
fucking
It works.
works.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
It's like all of a sudden, there's a bunch of kids running with me. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm gonna win.
Mine is
I
from
should
work on that.
heart
That
of the
sounds-
fire
I could see
is
that being motivational.
burning.
It is.
I
It's
keep
awesome.
trying to
From the
lose weight, but every
ashes
time
we will
food just
build from another day.
winds up in my
Tabula Rasa says David is a music centrist. Yeah, pretty much. I like everything.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
an
I love
enigma.
a lot.
I like it. There's very few genres I cannot listen to.
a music centrist.
like
That's the
everything
most
too.
hurtful thing I think I've ever
mean-
heard.
Right. He means it's music that is wide ranging.
I will say,
Yeah.
like I have,
genres.
I favor hip hop and dream pop, which is kind of a weird combination there. So I'm like, I definitely have favorites, but in terms of just like, I'll listen to anything. And
What about Jake and I was making Jake listen to Alanis Morissette before we started because I was trying to get the
I
Canadian
like Alanis
vibe going.
Morissette. Yeah,
See, and this is what we were talking about. in the 90s, when that was on the radio like nonstop, we were like, oh my God,
Ironic. It's on all the
cannot
time.
do this. And I'm way too edgy for this kind of pop music. But now I'm like, I love this stuff.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so
I don't know
good.
why.
It's so good.
And it's part of it
like
is I'm older now and it's softer, but
90s pop is
also
fantastic. I'll go back and listen
Yeah.
to like, playlists of just like 90s hits.
I had all
It's
that for the
amazing.
gym. Pink and Metallica. Best
Like-
workout stuff going.
songs that
I
I
like that
just I was so disgusted by. Now I hear them and I'm like, oh, I know all the words. They
Oh.
brainwashed me in the 90s and now I know it all.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking with Matt about. I feel like the hatred for some of these artists for me came from the fact that the technology of the time meant that it was being played in the car when I was going places that I didn't want to go, and there was an association there. I'm listening to Alanis Morissette while I'm being driven to school,
Yeah.
it's no good. Celine Dion,
Yeah.
God help us.
Oh, Celine Dion.
Never had a chance.
They
Remember
are. They're
Counting
objectively
Crows?
great. their most
You have just
popular songs.
bad memories
remind
associated
me
with
of
them. I get that.
6 a.m.
See,
Guys, I wrote you something.
For me, it's different. It's like I hear those 90s songs and I'm reminded of a childhood that I honestly didn't really enjoy when I was in it. But it's just like oh, wouldn't it be nice to live in the 90s right now and not have to be on Twitter at all ever and didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
working
nostalgic
hard
for
in
my
the 90s.
childhood, but I'm with you right there. Where like I wouldn't mind taking another whack at the era, but as an adult.
Yes. I would love to go back, whether it's 80s, 90s, just experience that again through the modern lens. Like now that I know where we are now, I want to go back and
Yeah.
experience those days. So
Yeah.
we need time travel. Come on, what's going on here?
Pre-internet. Oh my
That should be
God,
the
it was-
investment.
Like at the time, nobody was walking around like in the early 90s going, we need an internet. Nobody was doing that. Nobody was like, we need phones that we can have everything right. Nobody thought that. So when people
No.
say nobody asked for this, like for a movie sequel or something, I'm like, I'll tell you what they didn't fucking ask for. Maybe the
Just-
CIA did, but nobody else was asking for the internet.
Just wait for all y'all to be back there in the 90s. We're all having fun. We're all wearing our flannel. We're all watching Buffy. And then
My
somebody
daughter
said-
was watching Buffy. Sorry.
Absolutely. And then somebody says a fact that would be easily disprovable with a Google search in this era. And they keep standing by it.
Yeah.
Then-
There's
then
certain
we
things.
miss it.
Yeah.
You
for
gotta
sure
go to
there's
the
certain things
library?
that-
Ugh.
yeah.
You just ask older people or
Yeah.
go to the library. That's exactly what we used to do. Welcome, Alan Bender.
Just put
Good to see you.
$100 on it. Let's go to the library right the fuck now.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean you can
exactly.
find it though. Like it could be like a more recent thing and just,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the
They got the
Dewey
newspaper.
Decimal System every time I want to
Well,
prove
listen,
Ronnie
I did
wrong.
that when I
That's
went to
what we
when I was in
did.
college. I had to.
That's how I
Everything
learned
was
about drugs.
research and use the Dewey Decimal System and everything in the 90s. There was not a lot of. I had to
Yeah,
print
I
out
had to.
incredible stuff and drag it all over into journal articles and all for both of my undergrad and my master's. Master's, we got a little more computerized, but
Do you see what people are doing now? I saw a video of, I guess this is during it's a exam room. Like, there's a person taking a multiple choice quiz, and there's a person behind them filming. They're just taking screenshots of the multiple choice, and AI is answering for them.
oh my God.
It's
So
just
Talk
like,
about
So
stupid.
really,
like
it's
why
going
even
to
go to school at that point? Like, what
People
you
are
doing?
going to be dumb. People are
wow.
going to be dumb.
Oh
It's
my God,
going-
for
it-
sure.
Listen, there were some dumb people when I went to graduate school. I used to sit and think, I'm working my ass off, and their presentations were shit. And I couldn't believe that they passed, and I worked like a dog. Wow.
I heard
wow.
about a classroom which is doing something I think brilliant regarding AI, which is they allow their students to write papers using AI because it's out there. There's no stopping it from being out there. But that's half the
Okay.
grade. The other half of the grade is they've got to put down the sources for their stuff, and they have to fact
We
check their
always
own
had to do
papers.
that.
Yes, but the point being, the students that actually did the work and know what they're talking about, that other half of the assignment's easy for them. They just say, okay, copy paste, here it is. But the students who use AI get an extra lesson in how unreliable AI is, because they
Oh,
inevitably find
yeah.
out their papers are
The-
nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or asking Chat GPT. I can't even imagine. Oh my God.
Ah, right.
Shit. We had I won't even tell you. It was harder than when I went to school. It was harder. But I was done in the 90s.
I always go to the silly fantasy in my head that aliens are going to come here and be like, wow,
Are you guys
people
serious?
are parasites, but they could easily be the solution to all the problems. There's going to
Are they
be like
just
this
judgy?
too much
Did they
of
not help us?
Oh no, I'm just saying I don't know what the second move is. The first move is
It's
let's
just a
see what's
weird
going on
fantasy.
here.
That
No, well,
there's
think
just
about
an
it. If
objective,
aliens,
judgy person that arrives.
hey, if aliens
I
can
know who
travel
is
to
the
another
alien.
planet, they're obviously going to observe before they interact. I hope,
Fair.
unless they're here to take over. That's the other popular
Even
science
then, they're
fiction
gonna scout
scenario.
Well,
it.
I do have the alien theory. I think Elon is the alien and he's trying to get back home to Mars.
He's doing a
I
terrible
buy it.
job.
Yeah. They
Tell me
don't
more,
want him
Sandy.
He's the
He's
back.
on
dumbest
phone
fucking alien
home.
I've seen in my
They
life.
don't
man.
want
The
him
dumbest
back.
fucking alien.
But
Yeah,
they don't want
That's
him
why he
back.
keeps jumping.
They don't
He's
want
trying
him
to get up there.
There's just a
Oh,
bunch of frog.
One of these jumps
people
I'll fly.
in front of the rover. Like,
oh, Nadia.
no, we don't want any. Thank you.
Um,
Earth is our Australia. Please keep him.
What's the Bender's gonna go live with a call-in show tonight. How can we prank that show? How can the
Yeah.
entire Left Past 10 prank? How can we all call in? Because he puts
That's a great
it's
idea.
video. How do we do that?
I'm
I'm
staying out of
asking
this.
because we
I
have a
would
lot of
never
streamers on
participate.
You mean
stream.
right
I would
from
never
here?
participate in this. This is violent.
I don't like
against our
pranks.
streamer behavior.
Pranks are mean.
No, well,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we
it'll
would
just be
know
like
it's
a
us.
call, and then it'll be all of us. He's been on our
Yeah.
show plenty of times.
He would know it's us. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be funny.
Here-
But I
here's
don't
what
know.
we do. We swat him, and we endanger him and his family.
Oh, geez.
All right,
No,
Jake,
too far? Okay.
Jake, you need to be writing these things down as science.
Maybe
fiction.
run them by you first. Okay.
You know
all
what we
right,
said
fair.
earlier about thoughts, and some people don't have them, and some people do, and some people should write them down first before they act on them.
Write them down. Show them up.
Right? Oh, I asked
Yeah.
this bitch I used to be friends with on Facebook. They're putting these posts down. I read it and I'm like, Vicky, don't you fact check? I said it took me 5 minutes to fact check the bullshit on this. I am done. All these old picked people in my life that are so clueless and in the cult, I'm done. They fact check nothing. Nothing.
Facebook is a cesspool. I
Holy
can't. I don't
shit.
even.
See, I mean,
I'm
this was
barely
the
on
most
Facebook now. That's the one social media thing that just like platform
Yeah,
just
but
kind of
my
fell
mom-
to the
I'm on
wayside.
for my family and old friends, and my mom's 90 and she is always on my Facebook. So,
Yeah,
family. But
I
Vicky,
understand.
I was shocked and I wrote back. I said, Vicky, do you know how to fact check? Are you really seriously putting this shit down? She'll probably never talk to me again, which is like, okay, I don't care if any of them do. These people are out of my life. I don't want them. I have a
You know
new
how
life.
Jimmy Kimmel used to do these live interviews on the street where he'd go up to people and ask them things that were obviously
Yeah.
totally not true, and they would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, that's horrible." He's like, "Yeah, I
That was
can't
a
think of
good
an
They
example."
just make up
but
news stories or something. And
it would
like,
just
ask for their opinion.
expose people. Yeah, they don't care. They
We
do
got an
not care.
important chat message from Colt Dog
We do.
in the chat. Very
Okay.
important. I'll read it out. Letter hack. What is this beef with Sam Cedar? He gets a little uncomfortable when your
Colt
name
Dog.
gets brought up by John from San Antonio.
He's
So
behind
what is
the
this?
times. Cold dog, sweetheart. You're behind the
You want to make a plug, probably. So why don't you do it?
Yeah. So I'll be on the Letter Hacks live show tonight
Right.
at
They hate me. They do not like
No,
me. He
they
threatened to send me a cease and desist.
do not.
That's
Uh,
hilarious.
Yeah, they're really upset.
You've
with
taken
me.
John from San Antonio from him.
And this is why we're
Yeah,
choosing
home record.
to theory craft on how to prank Matt Binder. This is why.
We're gonna
Definitely.
monetize fake beefs.
Fake beefs.
That's the way forward, especially
my
if Trump
God,
wins.
we're
We're gonna need
vegetarian,
some
I
outlet.
approve of this.
We sell
I
Impossible
so
Burgers
avoid.
here.
I so
Yeah.
avoid all the drama. Like there's I don't know, there's stuff with like Hassan and Ethan Klein. Every single day I wake up
Oh my god.
happy I'm not
So good.
Hassan. Like
I
like,
respect
nothing,
that,
not about
David.
him.
Yeah.
Like Hassan's great, but I never want to be that
You're class,
level.
because you're
where
a class act.
There's just there's so much shit that he has to deal with. Like I feel like Hassan is one of the most like, he's somebody who gets so much hate undeservedly so. I find that I would not know how to deal with that situation. It's just so much bullshit all the time from people who like once, like Ethan Klein once worked with him, like it just complete trash he has to deal with. No, thank you. Anyone who tries to come at me, I'm like, all right, block. I don't need this in my life. Like I don't need to think about. I have a child. I got shit.
Yes.
I got shit to do and think about. I don't have to preoccupy myself with like drama. But it's depressing to see the kind of shit people will do for clicks or clout, or they're just deranged and they think they're right.
They're just deranged. I
Lots
like
of
that. Yes, there are lots of it, but yep.
Well, and
I-
there's
I don't
enough
play
people
that either.
covering that stuff anyway. Like there are shows that dedicate long segments to analyzing what's going on there. And
With all of it.
actually, David, I've used you as an example a few times. I think when people get to a certain number of subscribers and live viewers,
Mhm.
it's
just
in
get
their best
insufferable.
interest. No, it's in their best interest to begin doing interview or videos more and less live streams. I think
Mm.
Really?
audience capture is like an obvious thing that happens, but I also think it takes a toll on someone who the lines are blurred between this is my on-air personality or demeanor,
Yeah.
and no, I'm just trying to use social media as myself now. And so I think like if you're making videos and then you go online, people are like, okay, this is separate. I can make the distinction between this guy doing his job and this guy just being online like the rest of us. But I think like if you're constantly streaming to tens of thousands of people all the time, you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
say anything on Twitter
I don't
without
have that
people
problem.
thinking you're still in that capacity.
Yeah.
I do think
I
live
agree.
streamers are a different kind of thing. Like people
Yeah.
that like Hassan who are on like 8 hours a day. That's a whole
That's
different.
crazy.
That's all. Yeah, that's a whole because your life is online at
But
that
that's
point.
not every
I
day.
don't
Is
want
he
that.
on that many hours every day?
I'm not sure
Some
what he does
people
now.
are.
I know he's for a
'Cause
while.
he
That's what he was
does a
doing
lot of
basically every
clips.
single day.
I do 2 shows a week, two shows, Tuesday and Friday, and then now I'm doing a little bit more clips and other things, but that's it.
Yeah, I prefer just doing. There's a topic I want to talk about. There's a vid like there.
Yeah,
There's
you're
a
good
thousand
at
things a
it.
day that I could talk about, but I don't. That would require me. Like I'm someone who feels like I need to really read up on what I'm going to talk about before I talk about it. I'm not just going to like spout off about something I just saw. So
Really appreciate
it's
Holy
I
crap.
need to sit
What a
and
breath
just
of fresh air.
As somebody
It is.
who for many years would stream like 16 hours a day, I can assure you that when I did that, I had no free time to look anything up or to learn anything about anything. So a lot of the times you see a lot of these streamers, like they just say the dumbest fucking garbage in the world because they're streaming all the time. They don't actually educate themselves because they just don't have time for that. They want to
Also, if you-
monetize every second
Or
of their
they
lives.
also if you're streaming that
educate on
long,
the
you're going to say
goal.
something dumb at some point. Like
That's
you
correct.
know, you're streaming all day. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
I had a dumb moment today at some point, but I wasn't streaming it. So like you know what I mean. There's going to be a dumb thing you're going to do just by the nature
and
that
to
you're on
Matt's
so long.
point,
Yeah.
you hit a certain size audience and suddenly your live streams, every one of them can have consequence. So you don't have that. Like I like to take
I don't have
advantage
that problem.
frequently. Yeah, I like the zone where at least Sandy and I are in at the moment, where it's like I can do a live stream, and if I F it up, I know it's like a finite amount of people that saw it. I just take the thing down.
Oh, thanks,
Next live stream,
Jay.
whatever. That's where we are. So it's a good realm. But when you start playing those David Dole sized crowds, if you accidentally insult all Dutch or whatever, bigger
You run into
consequences.
some issues.
Well,
Well,
I
I-
think it's hard for the genre I'm in to really, people they don't want to hear all of the doom and gloom. They really don't, but I'm going to report it. So
Well, it's
No.
demanding. I
do.
mean, there's no
Oh,
way.
very.
Okay, I'm streaming with a few hundred people watching, and now,
Mhm.
you know, a year or so later, I'm streaming with thousands of people watching. That cannot possibly, in my mind, I cannot possibly be the exact same style or whatever content. I don't know.
Mm.
I feel
Well,
like
it
you have to
changes over the
evolve with
years.
that.
Absolutely. I've been doing it 7 years almost.
And that could be
It'll be
bad, though.
December
That can be negative,
2016.
is my point.
Yes.
Just
And
start doing
you do
videos
grow.
like Humanist Report and Rational National. That makes so much sense to me.
I do that too, though. But I do everything. Music videos, I do clips, I do videos, you know, but not quite like that yet. Not the videos where I do it and then put it up. I love my live
But
streams.
but you know what I was
I was
thinking?
gonna say you should.
They are fun to do.
I love
Yeah,
them.
they are fun.
They are.
But what I was thinking recently was people only say the left because it's like a cute sort of word game. Word play.
Or well,
You
it's
know what I
really
mean?
because of the cute money they receive for leaving the
That, yeah, that too.
Oh.
But people are like,
It's
why
less
I
about
left
the
left.
wordplay, more about the fact that it happens quite a bit. And you really don't. Has there been anyone who left the
No.
right?
No,
Has
there
that-
is no.
Has that literally ever happened in terms of like the public, like anyone online that does this shit? Is there
No,
one
but I got
person
some-
that's done that?
I got a
No, there's no fucking
saucy
money.
theory.
No.
I think left the far right is not going to be that phrase, but that's going to be a thing we start seeing. Like, I have a feeling in the next couple of years, the Steven
think?
Crowders of the world are going to. Let me put it like this: it's not
He's
sustainable
an asshole.
to allow these liars to keep going on like they have been. Alex Jones, Fox News, they're starting, like, society as a whole is starting to be like, all right, there has to be at least financial consequences for this.
There's not,
I
because
have
the
a-
billionaires paying them. They want
Right.
the distractions. Like they
Although-
want these people out
They
there
do, but my
distracting them from
point
actual
being-
issues.
Peter Dow.
Society as a whole has got to deal with this, and so we're either going to or we're going to die. And as that starts happening, I have a feeling there's going to be a whole new genre of streamer who's like, well, I used to believe, some more to the right things, but lately I've made a lot of friends on the
I
left.
don't know.
And
No,
like the
there's no money
worst
in that.
villains
I don't
ever
know.
are
There's
going
no
to try
money
to
in
money in
that.
any of this.
wander their
Maybe
Not-
in
not
20
what I
years if we get the good ending, but I don't think that's going to happen.
In 20 years.
All right,
you know what I
gentleman's
think about
bet
that.
from everybody here. That's one gentleman each. If we're wrong, I'm gonna give it 3 years. 3 years before a major right wing streamer goes centrist. Anybody?
No,
Any
there's no
takers?
money. It's not happening.
No.
There's no. Why would they do
Unless-
it?
Would Destiny
Well,
qualify as
unless
right
they
wing to
make enough.
centrist?
No,
No.
no.
Unless they make enough and how about this with Tim Pool? Why had he's now announced that he is going to stop because he wants to spend more time with his fictitious
He
family.
is not getting
that
that
he
Russia
doesn't have.
money anymore.
Right,
That's
that's
what
His
that
what-
is.
girlfriend from another
that's-
country.
Or
I feel-
he's in trouble.
It feels almost to me like maybe he met somebody and he likes them, but they're like, oh, you're a fucking fascist, Trump supporting piece of shit. I don't want to fucking
Oh,
be
that's a
with you."
good theory.
Maybe.
So
I
he's like, you know
that.
what? I need to find this family.
So it's not the conspiracy that
I can't
he's
get
in
the
trouble.
ladies with this bullshit, so maybe I'm gonna
Yeah.
move a little bit off the internet.
I'll take stop doing it over moving centrist any day. Like, just stop doing
Stop
it.
doing it.
Yeah, that's the
find a
best
new
I
line
think
of
you would
work.
get. Like
Yeah.
they made their money, they're gonna, they can't necessarily do the left turn, but they're not gonna.
But
be doing
imagine a
anything.
show like Breaking Points or whatever, where you have like a Tim Pool type where they're like, God, I can't, like, if I keep doing this thing, like the lawsuits are piling up, I'm looking at some serious legal jeopardy.
Yeah,
I
Jason.
know. I'll go be the right wing voice on a moderate show, and I'll start saying less and less crazy stuff until
I
people
don't know.
forgot I used to say.
I think
real
to get to
crazy
that,
stuff.
Sagar
I think
says
to get to a
pretty
Tim
crazy
Pool,
stuff.
yeah, Sagar's a fucking. I feel like to get to that place.
I
If you'd like
wanna
to get
know.
to that place, you already have to be a little crazy. You already have to be kind of a sociopath to get to where Tim Pool is,
Oh,
to get to
yeah.
where Steven Crowder is. So
I don't
what-
think they'll be better people. I just
I
think
don't
they're going to see it as in their interest to pretend to be more, to pretend to have a soul.
I think it would have to be in their interest, and
What
I'm not
kind
sure
of money
the
do
money's
those
there.
people make? What kind of money and where does it come
Oh,
from?
millions. I mean, recently there
Where
was
does it
the
come
exposure
from?
that they got Russian oligarch money.
Yeah.
But and it's real. I mean, that was documented.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they showed,
confirmed.
Yeah.
okay,
Literally
and
a
how
These
foreign
much-
guys
There's
are
also just
making
American
like
billionaires, like what is it, the Wilkes brothers,
Yep.
Wilkes or someone else
Well, my
that funded Ben
$300
Shapiro.
a
like-
month. My $300
Yeah.
a month doesn't count.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
these guys were
oligarchs around
making
the world.
like 4 videos a month and getting like $1 million or
my
something
God.
crazy like that. Like that.
Maybe I should go Tulsi Gabbard. No, I
Yeah.
Do you see
I
why
guess
people
I'd
do
it.
that shit? That like if you don't care, if you have no shame and you're a sociopath, it's so and you're building an audience, it's so easy to just kind of like do that.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
your
yeah.
only driving factor is money,
Like that,
that's
those horrible people from Redacted, the guy and his wife, I blew them out of the water the other day on one of my, because I've been fighting disinformation and misinformation, scientific stuff now on my streams, and they're terrible. She actually was with MSNBC. These people are,
who
they've
is
got
this? I don't know who this is.
they're called Redacted. They have 2 million subscribers. She used to be with MSNBC. He was with Fox and Friends. They literally left the United States in 2019 because he's a real estate grifter. They left and they're doing this show from Portugal. And they're making gazillion dollars, and they are highlighting every fucking clueless moron, anti-science idiot. And I'm blowing them out of the water.
Do it.
I did. I've been doing
I don't
it
think I've
Yeah.
heard of them.
on all of them.
I have
Oh,
an
they're awful.
example.
They're off.
that's
Watch my show.
I have an
I'll send
example
you the
that-
link.
kind of close to what Jake was talking about, but not really. These
I'm gonna send you my
I
link.
had people on for an interview a few weeks ago, the new evangelicals,
Mhm.
and like these guys were Christian nationalists.
God.
They didn't start their podcast until they decided not to be. You know what I mean? And then they started streaming and doing, YouTube. But they were the one woman was on the Jim Baker show.
Oh God, with Timothy.
Well, after that, but yeah, but like as a young lady, she was on there like singing and doing like, the entertainment and stuff.
That's crazy.
Now she has a book out about all of it and how it's just batshit crazy and it's
Yeah,
not right and it's terrible. And
Which I feel like shouldn't require a book. You can kind of just watch an episode and like this.
well,
That shit's
I
crazy.
mean, I think they're trying to convert, which is kind of funny use
Oh,
of
yeah.
the word, but they're trying to get people who are still like, being brainwashed by this nationalism in the evangelical church to get out, to just, you could be evangelical without doing it, I guess, without being pro-Trump and MAGA. But
Right.
anyway, I think that's who the book is for. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of an example of somebody who left the right. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Interesting.
close. But I think otherwise it turns into a thing like, how politicians are like, yeah, we're retiring. No, you're going to go be a lobbyist now. You're going to go work for tobacco or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like they always get some cushy boardroom job where they're getting paid. I think right-wing podcasters and streamers have that sort of route.
Well, we've
Or
touched
if
on
they don't get
something.
into
Yeah.
politics.
The key thing here is that if you'll note the new evangelicals weren't famous right wingers. They were followers, and then they started a more left leaning or friendly, let's say, podcast as they discovered, we've been lied to. But what does this tell you about the people on the right wing who are pitching this stuff? They know it's a lie. None of them are going to find out they've been lied to and then say, oh, well, I got to go switch things around now. They know what they're doing. All of them know. You can't talk about this stuff in the way they do, and you can't run defense for these abhorrent policies that are being passed without knowing what it is you have to steer the audience around. So
What do
they
you
know
think-
it's a lie. They're all
what-
grifters.
What do you think somebody like Rudy Giuliani will do now? What's his next move? He had to give up
Yes.
his apartment, his
He's
Retirement,
old.
maybe?
he's a lot
Relate
of
He's
stuff.
gonna
Trump?
die of a heart attack. Sorry, he's a drunk.
Is he going to keep trying to grift like he's been
No.
doing, or what's he do now?
Who's gonna grift?
He's going into the
Fade
coffee
away?
business.
Trump isn't gonna help him. By the way, David, I've been uploading now to Rumble.
Oh,
And I'm trying to see how long it takes me to get kicked off because I'm continually, my shows really blow their bullshit out of the water, and I'm getting like 25 views. I got a couple of people, trying to argue with me, the climate deniers, but I'm just seeing what happens.
I had, this is a few years ago now, but somebody, I'm not sure if they're still, I'm not going to out them, but somebody who was working with Rumble at the time reached out to me, and I guess Rumble was interested in reaching out to more left-wing or progressive creators to have
Yeah.
like exclusive deals, at least timed exclusive deals.
Well, they haven't
And
reached out to me.
I'm like, who's behind this? And he's like, oh, whatever, Peter Thiel, like whatever.
Oh God.
I'm like, I'm not gonna like it's I could have, it would have been easy to be like, I'm not exclusive to Rumble, but I'm, this
Right.
video is going to be here for like a day earlier or something. And it sounded like maybe like 6 figures, something crazy. And I'm just like, I can't
I
be a
don't
part
make
of
any
this.
money
Like,
there.
I'm not
Do
going to
it.
be the person jumping in and being this person.
No, I'm doing it for shits and giggles. I'm doing it to try to ruffle people. I mean, I did a show on Agenda 21 blowing Glenn back out of the water. I'm like debunking these morons. I'm waiting to see what happens.
If you don't have to lie for the money, for God's sake, next time take the money from the scumbag billionaire.
But it's just, I don't know. The idea of having it exclusive,
We
I
have
felt like
ethics.
it's one thing to like, oh, post your content here as well. It's another to be like, no, my
Exclusive.
YouTube audience is getting screwed because I'm posting it
Right.
on Rumble first.
Film it twice.
No,
I felt like it would
David
have hurt. I felt like it would have, apart from
Yeah.
it just feeling icky, I think it would have hurt the
Yeah.
audience as well.
We are
Um,
ethical
fair enough.
people. We have ethics. That's something that they don't understand.
Speak
on
for
Rumble.
yourselves. I'll
Oh,
take
shut
the
up,
money.
Andrea.
Peter Thiel, where are you at?
Back alley.
I'm not. I won't. It doesn't matter that I can't feed my
Can
cat.
you-
I'm not taking the money.
Can you imagine the MAGA and conservative and Republican outrage if anyone on the left, George Soros, for example, was giving out $1 million checks to
Oh
somebody
my
for registering to
God.
vote? They would lose their mind.
Rumble would
oh
have
my
blown
God.
up.
Yeah.
The Democrats could do that now while Elon Musk is doing it, and they say we could do it too, and they
Well,
would still find outrage.
Didn't
right?
Bill Gates just
Yeah.
give, I think, 55
That's different though. He's not giving
million?
it to voters. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Can I interject with something?
And how come we can't fake be Republicans to try to be in that thing? Why can't we fake it?
I think you
What do they do?
I
you
don't even
can.
think- Yeah.
It's just like voting registration, but but the idea. Do you trust Elon Musk paying you? I don't.
No.
I don't think you're
They
gonna get
did
money
point.
anyway.
No.
They did change the wording now. After the DOJ sent them a letter saying they may be violating election laws, they changed the wording to say that these people have earned $1
And
million.
Oh, they earned it by
They
signing
didn't win
something?
it. They earned it.
That's ridiculous.
What was
So
your
they
thought,
got to
Andrew?
pay taxes on it.
Well, while we're on the subject of giving people money, can I talk about something?
Yes. Give us
Sure.
all
Yeah.
super chats.
I
Well,
like
I
where this is
posted
going.
Something in the private chat. I'm running a contest for my new Doom Megawad based on the wonderful month of October and the spirit of Halloween. If you want to play it in a specific way, there's an image that I'm sure the letter hack is trying to get on the screen here. I will give you money
Okay.
anywhere from $33 to $66.
Very
So,
nice,
Very specific
Andrea.
numbers.
well, it's
Well-
the WAD, the game, whatever term, is called 3:33 a.m. because
I
it's
wouldn't
Halloween.
know how to play. I don't play video games.
Oh, I didn't either. I did the Christmas Doom WAD with Andrea on live stream,
Yeah, you
and it was
did.
a lot of fun.
Was it?
Well, primarily because I wasn't very good at it. Not even practiced going into
Well,
it.
if you weren't good at it, there's no way I could even figure it out.
Well, what's
I mean,
fun,
I
there's
come
a
from the
lot
Miss
of shooting.
Pac-Man era.
There's a lot of killing in that game, so it was
Oh.
cathartic in a way.
I love killing. I love
Ooh.
shooting.
It is monsters though, so it's you don't feel
But
so bad.
I don't like
Yeah.
killing.
They were zombie
shooting.
Santa Clauses in this case.
There you go.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
really fun.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. We've been now.
It is
a
sorry, it is
year
11:11.
together. Ooh,
I should
dang.
be
Dude,
I should be getting off.
Didn't it go fast though?
before-
And you had,
It
It
you
actually
had-
went by really
Actually,
fast.
10:20.
I did enjoy myself, but I do have
yes,
to wake up in the
you
morning.
did, didn't you?
Thanks
I
for coming
Surprisingly
on.
fun group.
David,
No
we
problem.
loved
I had a good time.
having
Thanks
you.
for inviting me.
Come
Before you
back.
leave, I did want to introduce you to a
Anytime.
concept called the J.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
See,
What just
He
happened?
left
He beat you to it.
early.
hey,
I think he went to the gas station.
He left
We're
He
not-
had
mid
to
sentence.
refill the generator
not
that runs
have-
this program.
We might not have such a long show. A lot of times
He'll
I
be back.
leave, they stay on. I go lay in bed, watch the
good
rest.
night, David. Thanks for
That's
hanging out.
not a bad way to do it. Maybe I'll do that.
I do that. Good night,
See ya.
David, sweetheart. It
Good
was
to
a
see
Have
ya.
a good one. Oh shit! Why are we zoomed in?
Wow.
Zoom out. No,
That-
no,
I
that
got
is
it.
bad.
I got it.
Delete
Relax.
that.
Why?
Relax.
Delete that
relax.
for us. Wow.
Yeah, you'll see my brown tongue
Holy
from
shit.
my
Okay.
What
mud
the
water.
fuck? You can't
Did
do that.
Jake
to me.
really leave?
That was.
I
fucking-
was the
No,
one
Jake's
that
coming
was-
back.
Jake's not coming back.
I really do want to just get off politics so bad.
Okay, but not video games. Let's talk about something else.
Oh, what the
Sorry,
hell, man?
Andrea, because
I
I don't
have-
know video games.
No,
I
it's all good.
have a
You have to
five.
train me if it, Andrea. You have to
Oh,
train
I
me.
will. I will train you.
I have
Oh,
a
okay.
5.5 minute video
Okay.
on how Popeye cartoons were made in 1938.
Yes.
And
Now,
I don't know
this-
if this is the kind of thing you guys want to watch
Why
or not,
not?
but Andrea's
No,
been
I
buying
do.
a lot of cell animation.
Yes.
And by you guys, I mean the viewers.
Everybody. Why not? It's something different and it's interesting and it's artistic. This is good. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind. And then I could take a little. I could sit back and
Yeah, and we can like pause it and comment on
Yeah.
it. Oh, cool. Yeah, this
I
is
actually
exactly what I'm
feel-
talking about.
You know, I was
So
feeling
cool.
This is
terrible.
naked
and I feel
Squidward.
so
He's
much
naked.
better. Aw. When I'm with you Wednesday nights, no matter how lousy I feel during the day, I get on here and I'm so much happier and I feel better. It's amazing.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm getting
It
some.
happens to me.
Yes, Max Fleischer Studios.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to
Yep.
watch it. Okay.
I use Popeye.
So we're
stuff.
now transitioning into the React genre.
Yeah.
This is the season 2. We're going into the React genre. We're doing a smooth, slow transition out of
Jake, you're
politics. We
back.
figure
Yep.
after the election, maybe January, February, we'll just be all reacting. And so today
No,
we're going to introduce the
not.
concept. We're going to react to cartoons and how to produce cartoons. Hopefully you like that.
Yeah.
And
And
anyway,
next week it's
there
surgery
you go.
video.
Yep, we're going to talk about surgery and what you can do to avoid surgery, particularly in your
You
in
mean
your
we're not going
eyeball.
to do a Dr. Pimple Popper
if
type
possible.
thing? That's gross.
Okay, now my favorite part of this, my favorite aspect of this video that we're gonna watch is
Okay.
it's technically a film. It was made in the period. It's not like somebody made a video this year about this. It's very old school. The narration is very old school.
Say, do
love-
you like funny pictures?
Exactly. I love that
Yeah.
they're all wearing suits and very nice dresses. It's and ties to wear. It's
Okay.
very Jake's gonna love this shit. And I could pause it a couple times and talk about
Alright.
certain things that are happening, like in terms of some techniques that were
Cool.
unique to this, that were invented on the spot here in the studio.
Great.
Let's do it.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I'm not neglecting anybody. Okay.
Neglect them.
Everybody
like-
in my chat okay with
Fuck
this?
those
Is it
bodies.
going to be
We
fun?
do not support every single body.
Something
They
different.
like to be negged, the audience. That's my understanding.
Oh.
I don't think they like anything. That's why they're
Um,
watching this.
Actually, here, talk amongst yourselves really quickly.
I refuse.
You
How
don't
many
think we're gonna
food
get like a?
items?
Oh, go ahead.
How many food items? I'm just doing the talk amongst yourselves. How many
Food?
food items do you think my fat behind has within arm's reach?
Your behind does not look
17?
fat. I've seen you do that dance.
17?
Fat.
Pear shaped. That
Oh my
is
God.
slightly above, I'll say.
Well, if you showed us those muffins, those are so fat.
16 and 3/4?
Jake showed his muffins.
I did show my muffins.
And they
yeah.
have that sugar.
I don't remember that.
Gonna kill you. Sugar is the worst.
Oh my god, all true. and I'm mostly made of it at this point.
See, Andrea knows how to cook. Cooking with the bitch. All right, sit back. Put
Okay,
your
hold
mute
on. Okay.
Put the mute on.
I got to do the math.
Comment
85 years ago. Okay.
comment if you want. Yeah, this is old, so this will be I love this shit, but this will be fun. We'll get the volume. Okay, here we go.
Miami, Florida, home of the Fleischer Studios, where the latest scientific developments are employed in the art of motion picture cartooning. Leading experts are gathered in production conference on the famous cartoon Popeye the Sailor Man.
Here we have
Hundreds
some of
drawings
God's chosen
comprising
people.
The results of their deliberations are arranged upon
Look at that.
surrounding walls.
It's a different time.
The pictures representing highlights in the story's development are shifted around as department heads plan or change details of production.
Okay, they pencil draw everything and then put it up on these boards. That's the cartoon. Like, how your average Popeye cartoon is like what, 5 minutes? It's a lot
Yeah.
of work for 5 minutes.
Known
But
as
what a
idea
great
or key
life.
drawings, they are given
Yeah.
to a group
It's
of
no
artists
different than like a
called
high school
animators.
table, you know?
The animators further develop the idea by making additional sketches, each one of which bears a slight change in picture alignment and figure contour in order to depict a degree of progressed action. As there are hundreds of pictures to be animated, the routine drawings in between the key pictures are filled in by other artists who are called in-betweeners.
Oh.
If you
Oh.
ever flip the pages of a pad of pictures drawn in sequence, you have no doubt observed how the action
would
creates the illusion
Love
of
to be
motion.
an in-betweener.
From the in-betweeners, the pencil drawings pass on to the cartoon inkers.
Orgies.
The inkers trace the sketches on squares of celluloid. For short, they are called cells.
I
They
didn't
provide the
know
characters with an invisible support.
I didn't
and
realize they
facilitate
had
their arrangement with other figures as well as
staffs
background.
this large for
Yeah,
cartoons back in the day. Like,
that's
a
called
popular
a
show.
bullpen. So that is an
Hmm.
artist bullpen, and they'll have that at like Marvel Comics. They'll have their own bullpen where they go, "Hey, we got to redraw the left ear on every single one of this character's thing," or you know what I mean? So white it out
Yeah.
and redraw it.
Wow.
Yeah.
The ink drawings are then filled in with color. At the
at
stockroom
this.
counter, painters or fillers in replenish their ever-dwindling color supplies.
In
Great
betweeners
care
and
must be
fillers in.
exercised by the paint mixers. As a large group of painters are currently working with the same colors, the shades that all are using must match perfectly. Any variance in color will be noticeable on the screen. In filling in the outlines, the figures are reversed as the paint is
And
applied,
this is back.
so the cells, when placed
They were
before
all
the
flipped
camera
out
to
on
be
speed.
photographed,
Oops.
will present a smooth,
This is
glossy
back when you
surface
could
with
tell
no
what
suggestion
rock
of
was
paint
going
or
to
brush
fall
line.
because it was a slightly different shade
Now
than
the
everything
characters
else.
must be provided with a fitting environment. In this department, settings are designed and decorated by artists whose work is just as important and perhaps more complicated than figure animation. It also entails a similar
Backgrounds.
degree of repetition.
Hmm.
These artists supply landscapes, street scenes, buildings, exteriors and interiors, as well as furnishings.
Oh,
They must be
man.
adept at creating the illusions of wind-blown clouds, waving palm trees, rolling seas, moving vehicles, and other effects that suggest activity. The character drawings are used to aid them in obtaining proper figure placement in relation to backgrounds. Also to aid in creating perspective and scene composition
Oh, that's nuts.
when the celluloids are assembled before the camera. For instance, Popeye's girlfriend, Olive Oil, must appear in normal relation to her patio doorway. And it would never do to let Popeye miss the rug when he bends his painted knee in ardent admiration. Many cells or pictures are required to complete this action. Now the thousands of celluloids bearing figures and backgrounds go into the
Imagine
long
how
routine
furious you
photographic
would be
process.
if
All departments
they
of the
made a
studio
change
are
to a
supervised
scene
by
when you're
Max
like
Fleischer,
halfway through it.
veteran cartoonist.
I just
In
think
bringing
you
the
can.
spinach-inspired
Okay, there it
keyboard
is.
strongman to the screen, he is
Max
known
Fleischer.
as Popeye's Filmland Papa. One at a time, each drawing is placed in a holder, and a single exposure is made on film. Upon this new apparatus,
Okay, look here. On this new apparatus, you can see
Look at it.
they have a actual model of a mountain there. See it on that board. This is
Wow.
Yeah.
this is called a setback table or stereo optical process. People used to watch Popeye and go, "It's 3D. This was early 3D," because it's a 3D background. It's a real model background. And so they'll show you an example. I think they show you an example here, but like It was a 3-dimensional technique invented by Max Fleischer and the studio. John Burks is another guy that it might be him there. I don't know, but
This is fascinating.
I
This
mean,
is
they
such a cool
created
idea.
they
Yeah.
created this in 33. So by the time this video came around, it's 5 years old, the process. And I'm telling you, there were times where, you know, I'm in high school, it's the middle of the night, my buddies and I are tripping, we're watching this, and we go, it's 3D, man, what's going on?
Yeah,
It
Andrea.
really was 3D. Yeah, there you
Damn it,
go.
that's
This is
cool.
why I thought you would dig it. Animation cells. So check out how they do this.
Actual scenes are constructed to convey the idea of depth and to permit the movement of backgrounds. For instance, many drawings of this bird must be photographed, each one with the wings and other lines of body contour in slightly changed positions. Also, with each exposure, the background is moved to create the illusion of flight. The process must be repeated many times with all characters and accessories that simulate motion. When it is realized that hundreds of sheets of celluloid, each bearing characters, properties, or scenic effects, must be superimposed one over the other so that figures will pass and repass each other in photographic action, thousands of exposures become necessary to complete
I now
the
get
entire
why
motion picture.
reusing animation was such a
The
thing.
production of film cartoons is long on routine and heavy with detail and requires considerable special equipment. The groups of pictures for each exposure are held in place by chromium register pins, and the holder is adjusted to the camera by heavy iron arms that lock in mesh.
Exposure unit.
Beginning
Yeah, see,
with one
I've done
sustained picture,
work
note how this
similar
series
to
of
this
pictures
in
flashed
screen
on the
print.
screen up to the rate of 24 per second speeds the action. The eye retains the image of one until another appears, creating the illusion of motion pictures. Finally, the picture goes into the cutting room, where the film is cut into scenes and edited. Voices are then recorded on the film, and department heads put Popeye through a preview.
Princess, wouldst it please thee?
This is intense.
Wouldst it please thou? What are you, a thee or a thou? Fairest one, I was about to say is... Yes, I'll marry you. You will. Oh, she's gonna marry me. Oh, it's wonderful. I think she's making a big mistake, but I don't know. Oh,
That's Jack Mercer doing the voice of Popeye. He was the voice for 40 years.
Wow.
The original, I forget the guy's real name, but they called him Red Pepper Sam. He was too difficult to work with, and they dropped him after the first 2 years.
Red Pepper Sam.
Yeah.
Too much of a headache.
Like that's a real guy's name.
As his nickname.
Oh, don't forget to come back. Heidi ho, Silver. Away.
Oh, he looks like he was in headache.
Thus, through popular science and out-of-the-inkwell illusion becomes fantastic screen entertainment.
The
By
colors
the way,
great.
best casting ever was Shelley Long as Olive Oil.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Knocked it out of the park.
So yeah, I mean, think about the hundreds of people involved in making like 3-5 minute cartoon, and
Yeah.
then there was like they had to bring in the orchestra and do the music, right? Like very impressive. So when you
Yeah.
look at people like Miyazaki and Ghibli Studios and the way they're still using this technique, what
Ghibli?
Andrea? Ghibli, how do you say it?
Ghibli.
How intense is
Ghibli.
I'm staying
Yeah.
out of this
Yeah.
one, but I know
Ghibli.
for certain. it's
Ghibli
not-
sounds very American.
I don't know what
What?
you said. What did you say? Ghibli?
Ghibli.
what you
That's
said?
how I've been saying it from.
most people
80s.
pronounce it Ghibli, and Matt pronounces it.
that? I don't pronounce
Yeah, I
it.
think Ghibli sounds like.
No, from you.
I don't think I've ever heard
It's
Ghibli,
Ghibli.
but I've
It's
seen a
Ghib-
lot of documentaries
Ghibli.
about that studio. But anyway, they still do it that way. I mean, I
It's
don't know.
So cool.
For all I know, a lot of people do still do it that way.
The only thing I did, and I did take an art class where we had to make our own cartoon, and it did turn out it was very labor intensive, and we had to have it the folding book. We made it into a folding book where you just went brrr, and you'd see the cartoon go. That's how long ago it was when I was in school.
Billy Costello. That was. Thanks, LT9K. That was Red Pepper Sam's real name. Yeah. fucking Red Pepper Sam was
What
too difficult to work with.
How do they? Is that what he's listed as on the credits? Like, and thanks to Red Pepper Sam.
I don't know. He may have been like, I think he may have been a musician. And that was like a stage name.
Ugh.
But he did voiceover.
And also, that's back in the day when people just had weird nicknames, you know? They called somebody Dutch or whatever. I don't know why I keep hitting on the Dutch this
Yeah, it
night.
seems like you got an issue.
I guess I got it in for him. Red Pepper Sam does appear to be a diva, if I had to say. Yeah, Billy Costello.
Well, that was cool, Matt, for sharing. That was great. Something different.
Yeah,
And I just learned something. I liked it.
Yeah, we'll probably get banned in, I don't know, Holland.
Ah!
And
Russia.
won't be able to monetize it anywhere.
I've
know.
never.
Well, this show is not monetized
don't
on my
monetize.
channel.
No, I don't
So?
monetize either. I
So
want people
there's
to enjoy it.
Sean is asking if they're treated poorly. And I think from what I've seen, I've watched 3 or 4 documentaries on that studio, and I think that they are overworked, but I don't think they're mistreated. They make each other dinner. They in Japan, if you listen to the radio, they do calisthenics like every hour. They stop and do calisthenics at their desk, little exercises.
Japan is pretty progressive as far as their
Yeah.
HR,
And
HU and resources.
I think it's an honor for them to work there. And some of the people, like their main colorist, I forget her name. She's been working there the whole time.
Wow.
Like she's Miyazaki's like, you know, not a partner, but essentially, you know what I mean? Like they've been working side by side for a long time. And I think, you know, if somebody quit, that position would be filled within minutes. I think people want to work there. My favorite thing was when some guy showed him, people take this out of context. Somebody showed him AI art or something. And it was the subject they showed him was terrible. And it was like of a person with deformities, and it reminded him of a friend of his or something from who had been injured in war or something like that. And they said, "What do you think?" And he goes, "I think this is the worst thing I've ever seen," or something like that. And so now people cut that bit out, and they say, "Here's what he said when he was introduced to AI animation. It's the worst thing I've ever seen." He wasn't really saying that. He did go on to try and make computer generated animated cartoon, but it didn't. I don't think it ever saw the light of day because it wasn't him drawing it. He would draw it and turn it over to these guys that would redo it, computerized,
cool.
digitize it, and they were like, he was like, "Nah, it's not quite right," and you could see that it was like, they were like, "All right, dude, there's limitations to this," and he's like, "Not when I do it with a pencil. Looks just how I want it." Right?
Right. Like with you, Matt. When did you start actually drawing?
Day
Again.
1, I think.
Would you like to
Put
elaborate?
a pencil in your hand and you just
Yeah.
went with it. Yeah, when
Yep.
you were really little, because it's just so your stuff is just so. I love your stuff.
I know.
I
No,
know.
I'm just. It's
I
to
know
me.
I tell you that's why.
I drew my whole life, but it really didn't satisfy me. I didn't go, "Oh, this is what it's supposed to look like," until like 2020, 2021. It was like 2020 is when I was like, "Fuck, I got it. This is what it should look like." Oh, and then I found like a digital pen, like a brush pen I really liked, and I was like, "Here we go." So that's very recent.
Yeah. All right.
If I
So
were you,
where
I
are
would
we-
be doing cartoons all the time.
That-
With my very now limited, my one cartoon experience with cartoons.
That does not. I produce shit way quicker than that.
Yeah. But you're also now doing educational stuff with Harvey. I mean, I see a lot of potential in using these things you're doing with Harvey as in schools and educationally. I think it's fantastic. When you said you were
Yeah.
talking about the 100-page book, I mean, these things are just, I just could see a lot
Harvey
going
talked to
forward.
these. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be fantastic. Harvey,
Me
just
too.
imagine if we took the 11-pager we did and made each page 2 pages. That's 22 pages, right? So,
Mhm.
like, now if each page we spread out over 4 pages,
Mhm.
see what I mean? It would be very easy to do. But Harvey did this like virtual, I guess it was like a Zoom with these kids. I think they were elementary, maybe middle school kids, about Thomas Paine and the Promise of America and all that. And they did like a reenactment. He sent me a video of it. They're in costume, very good costumes, and they're reciting like monologues and he did like a little play.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And I think they might be entering like a competition or something. I'm not sure
Yeah.
about that. But or like some other sort of, I don't know, platform outside of their school. But the teacher said that they want to make a comic now. And I was
Hey.
like,
Ooh,
get me on
boy.
that
Yeah,
Zoom.
I
Well,
got you on that.
I'll give them the basics. I'll show them like how to do it, you know, and
Mhm.
so anyway, there we go. Like you were saying, like
I said it
people
from the
run with it.
beginning. This is, as long as we don't get rid of the Department of Education like fucking Trump says, and we have it, and public
Jesus.
schools. I mean, this is good stuff to teach kids who they love that visual and they'll learn at the same time. I just think it's wonderful. I hope that something really big happens with this.
Me
Really
too.
do.
I mean, likewise.
Because and I know, but not even just for, fame or money or anything, but for really the ability to teach these subjects in such an interactive, interesting way that the kids aren't going to be like, and it's not it's not
Yeah, and
computer.
condensed, you know?
It's
Yeah,
fabulous.
I want
You
it
get
to
the
be
kids a lot
this.
quickly.
I've always considered myself comic making activist. I don't know. I want to advocate for stuff with my art, but
Yes.
I also want to be able to say I had a graphic novel published, not self-published. I could do that today.
Right.
I want to say I had a book published. Oh, you can go to
Yeah.
the
love it.
bookstore anywhere in the
And
country,
it's
get
going to
it.
be
Oh,
right
they
behind me on my,
translated it in French or whatever.
yeah, it's going
But
to be right behind me.
I haven't. I don't know how Harvey feels about this, but I haven't. I do, but we're on the same page. We don't want to have to like crowdfund it, but we could. I mean, we just could. We could crowdfund and get plenty of money to produce our own book, but I hope we don't have to. We'll
Want
see.
a publisher. Yeah. Somebody who has vision.
It's not easy.
Well, just
I
for the
mean,
legitimacy.
know.
You do it once for the legitimacy,
Well, it's
and then
nothing's easy that's worth doing. Nothing is easy.
I wholeheartedly disagree, but
What do you mean? How
I
easy is it
concur
to
for
walk in
different
and get
reasons.
something?
It's
Published.
easy to buy a lottery ticket. Sometimes it pays off.
No, I'm talking about getting things published like that. Although the material is great, how easy? It's not going to be like walk in
yeah,
the
I mean,
door. and
Jim
get
Henson
it.
had to pitch the Muppet Show for years, over and over and over.
Right. This is not going to be something overnight.
What is that
Understanding,
yellow concoction?
Emergency.
publisher gives you legitimacy.
Uh,
But
Yeah.
after that, what
I
do they
need some
do?
more mud water.
Nothing.
A lot of publishers in comics do Kickstarters now.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's like, yeah, we'll publish you. So really, all you're getting out of
Yeah.
them, distribution, which is the
Yeah.
number one crux in the comics industry.
Fair point. Comics may be different fundamentally than like books.
But I think with this sort of material, you go to like there's plenty of publishers out there that you've never heard of who
Mhm.
specialize in graphic novels of this sort, educational, historical, and not
Yeah.
you specifically, but nobody's heard of these publishers because they're
Yeah.
imprints of major publishers like Macmillan, Random House, Penguin books. They're
Mhm.
just smaller imprints. So they're out there. You just got to look for them. And then it's like, how do you submit to them? I don't know.
Well, you'll be
So
finding out.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to like pull strings, even stuff that I wouldn't normally do, but I'm like, bug it.
And then we can say, gosh, we knew Matt when.
Oh yeah, because he was on Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, there you go.
The hustle is important.
Dreamer.
Hustle
You're a
is
dreamer.
nowhere near as important as the product. You know, just
Yeah.
make a good product, and
That's what I think.
it makes the necessity of hustling go way
Right.
down.
Then you got to do a book all about the climate crisis.
Yeah, truly.
Yes, exactly.
That would be a good one.
I will work with you on that.
But at the age of 50, like I'm tired of
Yeah, I know.
playing the game with gatekeepers in the comic book publishing world.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little sick of it. So now I'm just like, hi, you don't know me. Subtext, I don't give a fuck that you don't know me. I'm asking for something.
Yeah.
Sorry. Or I barely had an interaction with you. Hook it up.
Make
Let's
a
go.
fun one.
You have nothing
Make
to
the-
lose by saying, "Hey, I've got something you don't," and you'll buy.
Make
it.
the fun one that's gonna get 100,000 clicks. The one that's probably the one you're least satisfied with, but it's the most standard. Gonna get 100, has the most mass appeal. And when you get that online, when you have that online, then you go to a publisher and say, like, look, this thing's very popular. Do you want to print it? That's what I think.
It's well, but this is why I call them gatekeepers, because let's say I was teaching a class on how to pitch a comic.
Mhm.
I would say you need to develop a really good pitch. Don't worry about your idea. Worry about the pitch, because there's a lot of garbage out there.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
It must have been a good pitch. How the fuck? There's when I was working with another guy and we were active, we went to, oh man, we were hitting up publishers like nobody's business. Like it was a part-time job. And they were like, we wouldn't do a book like that. And we started responding, you're doing books like that now. What are you talking about? You are. You have books that aren't as good as ours. Like we were fucking jaded. We were like, are you kidding me? You've got garbage on your and all I can think of is there's like a 2-year lead and maybe they regret the books they currently have on the shelf. I don't know. And
Yeah.
because people will say, hey, if you're submitting to us, we take unsolicited submissions, send it in. But take a look at what we're publishing right now. It's like what you're publishing right now might not be what you're publishing by the time you get around to publishing ours or looking at ours. That could change because it does change. Like some of these smaller publishers, I don't know, all their books have a rainbow in them. And then next year, they're all horror books. And then the next year, they're back to doing cutesy stuff. I don't know. Like it's just,
Gotcha.
they're gatekeepers. They're
Yeah.
maybe they don't set out to be gatekeepers, but they are.
We
Well, I mean,
gotta
they're-
make a publisher, it seems.
That's the thing is that's how, well, Marvel Comics was a distributor called Timely Distribution. And they said, oh, everyone needs us to send their comics out. We should start making comics. And then they became Timely Comics and then they became Marvel. That's how it works. So a lot of
Right.
screen printers and embroiderers who do work for all these other outfits are like, man, we should do our own brand. That happens all the time, but just making yourself a publisher, that is self-publishing. And because
Well, I
I can't
mean, you
print other
know-
people's books.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing. Like we should, have more left-wing publishers because I can't think of that many. And the
PM
ones that I
Press,
can't think of, I don't agree with a lot of them.
PM Press is pretty good. They got a lot of anarchy and progressive stuff, books and
Hell yeah.
comics. But again, it's like,
Mhm.
how do you get in with them? I don't know. But anyway, we'll see.
Well,
You're
just
right. It's like
see.
just have a quality product. That's what counts.
Yeah. Speaking of, I feel like I'm all out of quality for myself,
Yeah, I'm getting
man.
tired.
First,
Ah, ah. She got
Okay,
it.
well,
She left? Yeah.
I was gonna go over some news stories, but if you guys don't want to,
Oh. Well, now that Andrea's gone, I kind of like the idea of infuriating her and doing some news stories.
I will tell you
Oh.
this: the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development
Ugh,
put out a report today,
really?
or maybe yesterday, that if the genocide in Gaza ended right now, it would take 350 years to rebuild.
Not if Jared Kushner does it. They're going to have those goddamn hotels paid
No,
for by
that's not
that.
rebuilding. That's wiping out and
Yeah, but
building.
that's what
If
they're
they wanted
doing.
to rebuild, if the Palestinians wanted to rebuild their schools and hospitals,
Ugh,
350 years?
that's crazy. It's
I
And
wonder what they
Hamas is
mean
still
by
up and
that.
running? And
Yeah,
they didn't get the hostages?
Yeah, it could not be more clear that these folks do not give a damn about what they say they care about. They got the main guy, the leader of Hamas. They did not get the hostages back. It's true,
They
but
don't
they
want
also
the
killed
hostages
plenty
back.
themselves. Yeah,
Hey, listen, there's a
the
guy.
IDF killed them.
There's a guy that said Scott is taken, I think. I'm trying to call into Binder's show. There's a crazy pro-Israel guy there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay, real quick.
Shit.
He uses Skype. How can we get this whole show
Yeah.
to Skype?
No idea.
I have no idea, and to me, it's insane that he uses Skype. I do not understand that.
I don't know.
I
either.
mean, they will make a
Yeah.
change for the worse. Like, it is so bad.
I haven't
It
used
is the
Skype
least
in years.
Same.
Ecam Live used to use Skype, but not anymore. No, we haven't used it in years. No.
Just real quick, I mean, I don't think about this, but I've heard
Yeah.
about it. I think
I've started to hear about it and tuned off.
I think it's very petty what's going
don't know
on, and I
anything
think
about
it's in bad faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
If
I
you're-
think, and that's
if-
nothing new.
Yeah. If leftists are infighting now at this particular time,
It shouldn't be happening.
yeah, just how about this? Do them the courtesy, do them the favor of not watching any of those videos or any videos talking about it, because they're embarrassing themselves. And hopefully they're mature enough that one day they'll look back on this and realize that serious was going on and they were stirring up fake drama for clicks.
Yeah, and I think
that's what they chose to do with their time.
and
Disgraceful.
they always say, don't meet your idols because you'll be disappointed, right? And so my version of that is don't idolize anyone.
Yeah,
And
there
if
you go.
you think someone is a champion of the left, you will be disappointed because the left is a construct that we just came up with. It's not a place you go to.
There you
It's a
go.
set of principles, and
Yep.
there's no doctrine. There's no contract. We don't all sign off
There you
on the
go.
same thing. So you have to be really careful about, just because you see us on screen doesn't mean jack shit. It
Yeah,
really
and also
doesn't.
like not everything has to be so final. You know, like right now, I think Ethan Klein is disgracing himself with some silly ass behavior. Whatever. To me, like I'm just gonna do him the courtesy of not giving those videos any clicks.
Does he have a
And-
channel name besides
My
Yeah.
point being,
Yeah, he
once upon a time, he did one of the
Fine.
coolest things I've ever seen done on the internet, which is the prank on Steven Crowder, which actually
Sam.
did some tangible good in the world. At the very least, for no other reason than it literally broke Steven Crowder's heart. Good for that, and good for him. And so, because he's done that good thing, I'm not
my
going to put him
God.
on a pedestal and be like, "Oh, he's changed" or whatever.
Everybody-
just
Holy
don't
shit.
watch the nonsense.
There are I'm just looking right now. How many channels are doing this? Holy crap. Going over this thing.
Yeah,
I've just
it's-
counted 5 or 6 more channels Oh, channels I
It's a
didn't even know existed are talking about this.
it's
I
a
don't
bad habit of
No, they're
disingenuous
so yeah,
lefties.
but listen, we're in climate goddamn crisis. You know, we're
Yeah.
having hurricanes and we're having insane
If they're
weather, but
yeah.
people are fighting like this. It's such
If
bullshit.
they're
Sorry.
telling you they're on the left, but they're trying to get you engaged in this, they're not on the left. There's somebody who plays to the left for money. And you know what? They're allowed to do that. That's okay. But now you know who they are. Bear that in mind when they come at you with an opinion about something.
All right.
I'm losing faith in Matt Bender right now because he hasn't turned on the ability for other channels to redirect to him.
Too bad.
Can't rate him. It's so annoying.
Madness.
I want to send
You know what?
everyone over there when we end this, and we can't. That's on
I'm
him.
too
I set
tired.
mine up, y'all. It's Halloween. I set
Yeah.
mine up for a mystery science theater. You know what? Here's a little thing I'm working on. I think this is great advertisement for our shows too. I set mine up to raid the Mystery Science Theater Halloween marathon. I'm going to put this out there
Yeah.
if you want to test it out. That's what I'm testing. Maybe when people see that little message that we're rating them, they'll be like, "Oh, I wonder what these shows are." So if you want to do the same thing, tossing it out there, we could all rate it once.
Wow.
Does it give him a message? I've
Yeah.
never seen
Yeah, it
the
gives a little
message.
notification. Yeah, it's in the chat. It
Huh.
goes, blank is rating now, or whatever they say.
Oh.
Oh my
Um,
God. How did I just notice this, Sandy? Your nails are gorgeous.
They're my Halloween nails.
Let me see them again. Ah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's my very not climatey nails. It's
There.
just, but I told everybody why I do them. I do them because I am an anxiety biter, and these are like cheaper than therapy. So I
There
don't
you
do it.
go.
Seriously,
Okay.
they are. They stopped me from doing it. I'm doing a show for Halloween, but I think it's Friday the 1st, and I have a very special. I have a special guest, and that's all I'm going to tell you. But I do have a very special guest.
$10 super. Oh, that sounds exciting. $10 super chat for Jake from Nadia.
Oh, Nadia, thank you so much.
Good
That was
show.
very
Wednesday
nice.
is tough
Oh
for me
yes,
to
and
make it.
Nadia, thank you.
Wednesday is tough for me to make it most weeks, and even today / tonight I'm pulling an all-nighter,
Good
but keep up the
Lord.
good work, raise that consciousness,
Love you,
covering
Nadia.
all the right bases. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
You're not going to tell us who your special guest is? What's the deal?
Because I can't.
Oh.
She doesn't want anybody to know yet, and so
Turns out
I
it's
just
Andrea.
I have to be.
Okay, Anna
I have to be-
Kasparian will be on Environmental Coffee
Yeah,
House this
I
Friday.
know. No, you'll be quite shocked who I have coming.
So earlier I said they gave me a sticker with the presidential seal, which I never get because that's obviously an eagle. Seals don't have wings or beaks or feathers. And Jake
Seals, yeah,
still
really.
doesn't fucking get the joke. Like the presidential seal.
Antarctic. They walk black.
Oh,
and white,
right.
they
I
walk-
just got it.
Jeez, dude. That's an easy one. David Dole
Oh,
got it.
yeah.
He laughed.
Yeah, the presidential seal.
Yeah. It's like when you fake throw the ball for the dog, but the dog doesn't even realize you've done that. And he's just sitting there like,
I don't do that because I feel like it's so mean. Okay.
yeah.
This Friday, J.R. Jackson, right
What
here,
time?
10 p.m.
Okay, so I can
Interview
start
and
my
drawing.
show at 9 and try to get off so I can get over there by yours.
So I got
Okay,
J.R. Jackson here
all right,
on Friday.
10 p.m.
Monday,
Thank you.
Rebecca Azor will be on at 9 p.m.
Okay.
Tuesday, 8 p.m. John from San Antonio will be on.
Ugh, I have-
Wednesday, left past 10 p.m. Eastern, Ravana will be here with
Yo.
us 1 week from
and
tonight.
Then we are going to have the All-American Socialists on Michael in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because the next week we're going to be in New York City, but
Yep.
well,
I had a dream
but
about that. I had a
then
dream I
also
went.
1 week from Friday, Pumpkin Guts, my live reading of the post-Halloween story, Pumpkin Guts.
Great.
So
Great.
J.R. Jackson,
right.
Rebecca Azor, John from San Antonio, Ravana, Pumpkin Guts.
I've been really lazy on guests. I have to get my shit together and start writing to people. I've got just really lazy.
We got them lined up.
Yeah, I know you
Line
do.
'em
'Cause
up,
you're
knock 'em
very
down.
good and you're very motivated, and I need like I need a secretary. Boy, I was spoiled. I had a secretary for 20 years.
The
Boy.
Majority Report live
Administrative
show.
assistant. Yeah.
The Majority Report live show will be streaming on YouTube, just so everyone knows.
Okay.
So if I can get in front of that camera,
I
I'll wave.
really wish I could have gone. I dreamed about it last night that I figured out how to do it, but I can't. I
Sold
decided
out.
I'm not working the election. I
5-hour
decided not to
show.
do it.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not. It's too long of a day. It's you have to get there at like 5 a.m. and you're not out till 10 p.m. and I'm too disabled. Like my
They're
back is too
talking.
messed up.
They're talking about putting feds and snipers on
I live.
in Arizona.
Yeah, well, not here. I mean, I'm in a
No,
little
but I'm
bubble.
saying
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know. I'm just not
I don't
doing
want to
it
go
'cause I'm
anywhere there are
disabled.
snipers. Talk
Mm.
about depressing the vote. I don't know if that's
I think it's bullshit.
Arizona might be
I don't know
like,
if
we
that's
don't really
really gonna
care, but
happen.
no,
Well,
they're reporting
maybe.
on it today that they're planning on doing that, and they're saying they're scared that they were like saying they were speculating like about Russia
Oh my God.
inciting violence on social media, and so they're preparing. And
So
it's
how
like
about
that to
everybody just
me.
stay off social media for 2 days? Every lefty, every Democrat, everybody on the left or central, just stay off social media for 2 entire days. Don't give them the ammo. Stay
What?
off.
I don't follow
go
that
on-
logic at all.
Okay, the logic is if social media is going to start shit shows and nobody's on there to fight, don't go on
It's
for
the
2 days.
it's the vote tabulation center. Here, real quick. U.S.
Oh.
intel agencies warn Russia may seek to incite violence after the polls close on election day due to lessons drawn from the 2020 election cycle. Election officials nationwide are stepping up security. Maricopa County, Arizona's vote tabulation center, will have snipers on the roof, metal detectors, and security at every entrance, drone surveillance overhead, and security cameras and flooding to help law enforcement, or floodlights to help law enforcement
Well, that's
monitor
not going
there.
to happen here.
That's
good
fucking
to all that.
intense,
No,
though.
right.
That's
Yeah,
really intense.
it's
Like
sick. Maybe that's why they
The-
changed that Department
it's
of
an
Defense.
immediate escalation of
Republicans are the
use
willing
of weapons.
tools
And,
of a hostile foreign government in my city, in the town, next door to my city. They had full on it was weak because they're Republicans, but attacks against the voting center. People banging on the glass, banging on the doors, and the response to it was, excuse my language, flaccid. We can't do that because what happened next, January 6th? If it was the other way around, we already like there's this concern like, oh, but well, how will they treat the left then? We already know what would happen if the left
bum rush
dared,
old people and
to
kids.
hiccup at a police officer.
What
They
if
get beaten
nothing
to death.
happens and people just vote early and they go?
That'd
and
be
what if
great.
nothing happens.
So
It's still the
my point
tabulation
is,
center.
Yeah, I
my
know.
point is that all this preparation
That
that
ain't gonna
they're
happen
doing
here.
is
Not in my place.
frankly just good sense, given how gullible
Mm-hmm.
Republicans have demonstrated themselves to be, how lawless these punks have demonstrated themselves to be, and the fact that Russia has rather openly been manipulating them to do exactly the kind of stuff they're preparing for. So I think if we are truly big-hearted lefties, it's a good thing for them to see good and early. They're not going to be fucked around with. Excuse my language. They're not going to be effed around with.
Yeah, a gunfight is never good, though.
No.
No.
So showing a gun
Those
early
are crazy
is probably
states.
a good idea.
And nobody should be able to go into any.
See what
any
the
of those
countries come to
ridiculous-
when
go
the
to
deterrent is snipers
Yeah.
on a
But
roof.
I
like
don't. Is it not? I mean,
How
in
they
an
must be
open
dealt.
carry state, though, wouldn't you say where your voting place should not be allowed to
I don't
have
want
any guns in
any
there?
I would agree.
Americans to die over
No, of course not.
democracy unless we're defending the country against anti-democratic invaders. You know what I mean? Like
Anti-democratic
All right.
forces, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
overwhelming me at 12 o'clock at night.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to get off soon anyway. I've had a wonderful night.
Problem is a lot of these places now are waiting to count all of the votes after the voting is done, which is sort of silly when you have early voting. Like
New
they
York
don't
won't
count
do
the
that.
early votes until after
Right.
polls close on
Right.
election
Not
day,
New
and that
York.
is like
Nope. We're doing it all right. Everything in New York is
Yeah.
done
pressure cooker.
right.
That's a pressure cooker in a
We're
lot of
doing
ways.
it. We're doing
Okay.
it right.
Hey guys.
I'm
Love you
going to
guys.
say goodnight. I want to say thank you, everybody that's on my chat. I love you guys. Thank you, Looney, for being the best mod on the planet and, you know, doing what you do because he goes back and forth. Jake,
He's phenomenal. He is.
Matt,
love you, Sandy.
love you. Andrea, if you're still watching. And thank you, David. I'm
Interception.
sure you're not, but I did send David a tweet of the show that I want him to see, that I did the debunking of all
Oh, cool.
those people. So hopefully
He's a
he'll
great
watch
guy.
it.
Thanks
Well,
to our
then
guest, David Doel.
and hopefully he'll
Yeah.
learn who those people are that I exposed.
Sometimes they just feel
I
like
also on Monday were interviewed together by
Yeah.
the letter hack.
Who's apparently a raging leftist.
Jake, before you start talking over the outro, don't talk over the outro.
Oh, my bad. All right.
So before you say anything, don't say anything.
I wasn't.
Okay.
You said
how
not
about,
to, but
how
then I
about this
won't.
thing?
All right, I'll be
After you
good.
say something where you're not
Okay.
supposed to, continue to not supposed to. Okay.
Wait.
Dude, I'll mute
Continue.
you. It's going to take
Not
a degree of self, of willpower and self-restraint.
I don't have much. I have such a finite amount. It's a little cup of willpower, and I spend it all
I
not
don't know
to
what
be
finite
flatulent,
means,
loud.
but I agree. It's some sort of mineral. Good night.